Bear with me just a moment. I just wanted to check to make sure the volume is working well. Then we'll jump right into the show. Inside joke. Um, bear with me a moment. Okay, it looks like everything is working out smoothly. Um, anyway, I of course want to start off the show by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High, and Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, it's just going to be an open chat tonight. I know I'm going to have. Oh, okay. Hey, mighty God, let me put a link. Let me put a fresh link in the chat for you real quickly. Um, bear with me. Let me see. Just take me a second to log on to the YouTube comment box and put it there. Um, hey, I see Tony's live right now as well. Bear with me a moment. Okay, man, it's in there for you. All right, just and until he joins, real quick, just bear with me a moment because I did just get done doing I just got done, teaching for 2 hours. I recorded 50 minutes on my phone, but then I decided, oh wait a second, why don't I just go live? And then I wanted to see how it would work out because my camera I can only hold it in a certain position for a certain amount of time on the tripod or it will fall off. Anyway, I see Mind of God's in the back chat. We'll bring them on. All right, hey Mind of God, how you doing?
ETT, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? What's Did you enjoy the show?
Yeah, did I catch all of it, or I didn't know if you were live before I
Um,
got on.
I went live for an hour on that, but then I recorded another hour off of live show because at the time it didn't occur to me to go live, and then I thought, oh wait a second, well I'll do an hour recording and then an hour live, so I'll upload that probably tomorrow or so. But yeah, man, did the volume work well for you?
Yeah, there was no background noise. You picked a good spot. There wasn't any like. Sometimes it's annoying when it's windy or there's cars and trains and stuff. So yeah, it was clear.
Right, right. Anyway, man, what's on your mind?
Well, I thought we could lead off with Nahum 3, but unless you had a different topic,
Oh,
or
that's cool, man. That's cool. We're just flowing through the spirit now, man. Go ahead and pull up that skip sheet.
yeah, this one is excellent. Nahum 3. Okay, woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there was a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. And we know that term, sorceries, witchcrafts, pharmacia. Behold, I am against thee, says the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame.
Right. That's a fantastic, skip sheet, man. And it's funny, man, because these cats on here that are saying that it's the Vatican or China or any of that. I mean, what influence does China have over the world? Nobody's wants to. I mean, hell, I never heard anybody say they want to take a vacation to the Vatican City. I never
Yeah,
saw
exactly.
anybody, try to follow after the Chinese customs other than the people who live in China. However, with America, it goes throughout the world and gets the population to follow after the customs of America. And that's why, oh, and a good one about it, which we don't have to get it now, but I don't know if you read it before, but would be Proverbs, the seventh chapter, which is really, um, it's really referring to America. It depends on the way you look at it. But have you ever read that one before?
No, I'll take a look at it now. I got it up if you want me to read it.
Yeah. Basically deals with how this woman is subtile, right? And it's really referring to America. Okay,
Hmm.
if you want to read that.
Yeah, Proverbs 7. What end times teacher is reading is saying is verse 10. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of a harlot and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without, and now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. And she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said with unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings, listen to this, of tapestry, with carved rocks, with fine linen of Egypt. So that's coded language. We know that that's America. So that's excellent.
Right. And I got to give that credit to a GMS Mysteries of the Kingdom. He was the first one to bring that verse out, man. But yeah, that clearly shows, that's basically what America does. It goes throughout the world and pushes the philosophy, upon the other nations. That's why when you read in the text, it speaks about what that the earth was made drunk off of the fornication.
Yeah.
Ain't no Vatican City going around the world trying to push, Catholicism upon everybody. I mean, hell, at one point they did that, yeah, but now today, according to statistics, Christianity is dying out. People are leaving the churches now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll get another verse while you're talking, man. That it's very clear that all of these are referring to America, without a doubt.
Right, and when you go to, which we brought it out a few days ago, but oh, what was it, Luke the 16th chapter, right? I would say that like the rich man is referring to America, right? And it uses the word what? Fine linen. He was in fine linen, and the only places that we really see that is when it's describing Mystery Babylon, right? So we can come to the conclusion that what? That we're Lazarus, we're the one who's down and out, but America, right, the top ups of the society, well, they're living their lives, ain't got a care in the world. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, mighty God.
Yeah, that holds for sure because that very much represents America. The Lake of Fire is definitely going to start in America. So, yeah, for sure. That the rich man and Lazarus, that holds in that narrative. Revelation 17:11, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials and talked with me, saying, "Come unto me." Sorry, saying unto me, "Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." Okay, I mean that's it. That's America too, with the Navy
Right.
and all that.
Oh, and that's another thing, man. Because when you go to I believe it's in Jeremiah. I believe it's the 50th chapter. The 51st chapter speaks about the hammer of the earth, right? And America is the one who has its military bases in all of these countries around the world. There ain't no Chinese military base, somewhere in America, but
Yeah,
around China, America has one of their military bases. Right around Russia, America has a base there. America has a base everywhere around the world. That's why it refers to in America in the scriptures as being the hammer of the earth. That can't be anywhere else other than America.
yeah. Also they say that Satan, the adversary is the accuser of the brethren because he's basically a gossip. That's what America is. They're in everybody's business worldwide, spying on them, and then they put their stuff on the news media. Oh, this person did this person did this. So that's the spirit of the devil, Satan. And then it's clear as day to us, obviously, people that come by here that's America, but it fits perfect.
Right. Hey man, I don't know if you saw it again, but I was watching a little bit of a Good Servants live show today as it was coming out to my area,
Yeah,
and he didn't mention us by name, but he was basically going over what we were talking about. But hey, Good Servant, hey look man, why are you afraid to mention our names, man? You're free to do that, man. We're not up here like oh we're gonna attack you if you say something wrong. No, it's cool, man. You can just use our name because we already know you're referring to us because you're responding to what we brought up, man. But hey, just be a man and just use our names. We're not going to attack you. Okay? It's like, come on, man. Go ahead, mind of God.
no, like Beyonce says, say my name, say my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing that, man. Even when they did videos to me, they never said, my name or whatever. And I'm like, I would say that's a compliment because, then they know that they don't want people to come here and learn things, kind of, you know what I mean? So I always view
Right.
that as sort of a compliment indirectly.
Right, right. And it's funny to me because it's like, the brothers on there talking about, well, these guys teach a whole lot of, weird things about the scriptures. And it's like, okay, brother, if you believe it's weird, well, why don't you want to have a discussion on it? If you think that we're teaching right something that's satanic, well, since you got the truth right of Jesus, don't you think that you want to correct our satanic teachings then? I mean, it's like it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. The nice thing about the actual truth is that it's always open to being questioned. It's when you don't want to question things, that's when you likely don't have the truth. So
Right. That's why you have a saying. That's why you have a saying that goes, "The truth doesn't fear a investigation." Right. The truth is the truth, and it doesn't fear being investigated, because even after it will still turn out to be true, even after it is diligently, researched and looked into. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I agree, and that's the same with the flat Earth. If we didn't kind of push, at the beginning, we could have stayed in the ball Earth. Just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, they figured it out. And then if you don't push, then you don't get here, and then you don't wear that T-shirt, for example, that you had, and I have one of those as well. Not different color, but I got one too.
Yeah, yeah, man. Hey, you like that shirt?
I think yours is better. I got mine to support Russian vids a long time ago. It's not as nice. It's kind of like a little bit older and stuff, but it would be funny to wear that in front of GMS Houston and see if they say anything. That I had never thought about doing that. That would be actually
Hey, man.
hilarious.
As I said, man. If you want to purchase the one I have, it's only $20 on Wish. Just go on there and look up Flat Earth shirt and scroll down, and you'll see it on there, man. I recommend you get that, and then go to GMS camp and see if they call you out on that.
$20, dude. That's two burrito bowls, though. I don't know. That's a lot for maybe. I'll think about it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I suppose that is a good concern. Anyway, hey, man. I'll take the mic for a minute and talk about, man. My whole thing, about how I came to the flat Earth thing, is I got into it back in 2015 and 2016 is when it was very popular, right? So I got into it in 2015 is when I got involved in the whole, topic of discussion. I would sit there and watch, discussions on it for 8 hours a day. I would sit there and watch a debate. You know what I'm saying? How about you, man?
Who were the first people you were watching?
Um, it was the guy's not on YouTube anymore, and I don't remember the cat's name.
That's cool.
But there was a lot of guys back then. Like you had Jake the asshole. Remember that guy?
Yep,
Excuse
yep,
my language.
yep.
Um, but yeah, you had him out there, which he's still on there. He changed his channel name though. But yeah, man, I would sit there for 8 hours a day and listen to these shows, and then when that one's done, then I'll go and watch the next one. Then the
That's
next one. I
cool.
was fully invested in it for an entire year. And I'll say this was before I came across Great Millstone, because I've been following Great Millstone for about 5 years now. Okay, I've been in the truth for 7 years, almost 8 years. But I came across Great Millstone about 5 years ago. Okay, so
Yeah,
I diligently researched the subject. I watched probably at least 2,000, 5,000 videos, on the subject of, the flat world. And I came to the conclusion that, hey, it can't be disproven. All the
yeah.
evidence supports it. So hey, I gotta. I mean, hell, how can I say something's not true if I can't, prove it to not be true? You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So
exactly.
what is your whole story with it, man?
Yeah, I would say mine started. I went from Farrakhan to the Hebrews to Russian vids. I think that was the order, because I started watching Louis Farrakhan, and then they would put Hebrew Israelite recommendations, and then I started watching Sabak first, and then when I saw the Russian vids video, and then he had like a boat on the side of a ball, in my mind, I was like, man, he's probably right. And then Russian vids does a good thing and brings out the Bible, because a lot of the flat Earth people are not Bible people per se. So once he brought out verses about the Bible, I was like, oh man, I was like, you know, it's likely true at that point. And then obviously over the years, I started looking into it more, and then we can debunk all of them. The arguments are so bad, like the water droplet curves and stuff. Are you kidding? Like that's so ridiculous.
Hey,
So
hey, mine God, what will your response be? Because when you talk to GMS about it, the only thing that they bring up is, well, what about Isaiah 40 and 22? It says it's the circle. What would your response be to that?
Well, I don't bring it up to them, and I've heard people bring it up to them, especially even GMS Houston. They just say they don't want to talk about it. So that, to me, again, proves, like we said, the truth not wanting to be investigated. So then it's true to me. But Isaiah 40:22, I think that they know that that doesn't support a ball, because the funny thing about it is that NASA's rendition is that it's not actually a circle. It's an oblate spheroid. So the Bible does not support what is propagated currently that we live on at all, because it's not a circle. So it doesn't even hold. And so like they're kind of screwed either way.
And it's funny because what I do is I bring up two examples. It's like, okay, the circle. Well, is a dinner plate a circle? They say yes. Okay, is a pizza? If I go and get a pizza pie, is that a circle? It's like, yes, it is. But wait, those are not spears, though.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
well, what about mine again? Go ahead and pull up Isaiah chapter. Let me think real quick. Isaiah 22 and verse 18. Let's read that one real quick.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Right, right. So the reason why we bring this up is to show what, that he knew the difference between a circle and a bowl, because they are two different things. You can have something that's flat and be round as a circle, right? As I brought up, a pizza pie, a frisbee, a dinner plate,
Yeah,
or certain things such as that.
I think it might be a different one, ETT, and I'm gonna find it. I think it was somewhere in Isaiah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I believe it's Isaiah 22 and 18. It should be that.
Oh yeah, it is. Sorry.
Yeah,
Maybe I
that's all
typed.
right.
I'll find it.
Yeah, yeah. Last time I checked, it was that one. I'll say it again in
Oh,
case
sorry. Here
maybe
we go. Yeah, Isaiah 22:18. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. So,
Right, right. So you bring that up to say what? That he knew the difference between something that's a circle and something that's a ball. You know what I'm saying?
right. Exactly. Exactly.
And it's funny because when you bring that out to him, it's like, well, but it says it's round though. So see, that means that the Earth is a globe. But then to heart, which again, I'm not bashing those brothers, right? Much respect and honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. But hey, we have to, investigate what they say. Matter of fact, the horse said before that if you hear us say something you don't agree with, well, hey, look into it and you can see if it's true or not true. And there's many things that they bring up, which I looked into, and they do turn out to be true. However, there's a couple that turn out to be false. So we need to address those. Anyway, which I see we got someone in the back chat, so we'll bring them on in a moment. But I wanted to say that what Tahar did, and you can respond to this, mind of God. What Tahar did a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, is one proof that he said that the Earth was round. Is he played a video clip of NASA's live feed from space? Well, what are your thoughts on that? Oh, it was mind of God that dropped out. Mind of God, just go ahead and click that link, and I'll bring you right back in. Sorry about that, man. I didn't notice. I wasn't looking at the screen there, so my apology. Um. Anyway, until we get him back on, um, you see. I'll put a fresh link in the chat for him real quick, and that should be enough. Um, Bear with me a moment. Okay, I dropped a fresh link in the chat for Mind of God. So if he's still on, we'll bring him on. All right, hey man, you able to hear me?
yeah, ATT. Sorry about that, man. I just every time I
Oh,
open up my YouTube app, then it kicks me out of this
yeah, it's all
Hangout.
right.
So
I
yeah,
understand. I understand, man. What was the last thing you heard me say, just so I can pick
I
up
think
where I left off?
you're asking what my opinion is of something Tahar said.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying that the horror, what he did is to prove that the Earth is a globe. He used NASA's space live feed and say, "Well, see, this is proof that the world is round."
Dude, I even heard him say that he thinks that Michio Kaku and Neil deGrasse Tyson are very very close to coming into the truth. and I have a video of that on my channel. And I was like, just laughing. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? So, he took the live stream from like, I don't even know what to say. Did you actually watch what he was selling? Like what the live stream was?
Well, what show was that? What stream?
Yeah, like did you actually like watch what he said supports the Ball Earth? Like the actual live stream he said to look at?
Um, well, the stream that he played was just, if I was to go on the internet right now and look up space from, Earth from space or something like that,
Yeah.
the feed you'll get, that was basically what he played. He played 5 minutes of that and said, "Well, see, this is proof that the world is round, is because see, that's the Earth right there."
Yeah. The thing is, none of those feeds have airplanes. None of those feeds have any of the satellites that they claim are out there in the thousands and all that. So it's obviously CGI. It would not be hard at all for them to prove that we're on a ball locally here on Earth or in the sky. It would be super easy, and you wouldn't even need to have a live feed. You would just prove to us that the Earth moves. That should be simple, very simple.
Right, right. I mean, another thing as well, another aspect you got to look at it is, what about all of the the bubbles that we see in space? There's certain clips we have where you can clearly see what bubbles that are coming up, from who knows where. But it's like, well, wait a second, how the hell are there bubbles in outer space? It just shows that these spacewalks are being filmed in underwater, swimming pools. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean that's true, and I don't know if I've toured the NASA facility here in Houston a few times, and it just looks like a museum. It doesn't look like they're doing hardcore technology. Like when you tour a facility, you get a sense of like what they're all about. You're like, oh damn, okay, these people are doing some serious things. When you go to the NASA facility here, and I put facility in quotes, it just looks like a museum, like just like a show, kind of thing. So
Right.
yeah, but NASA, for people in the Bible, NASA is not a facade, so to speak, inside joke. Okay, they are weaponizing space for a battle that is going to happen, I believe, very soon, when the powers that be on Earth are going to collide with the powers that be above. So NASA, though we see, they just show us like the clown show on TV, but behind the scenes, like they're doing a lot of things, like with weapons that we will not see until that happens. We don't know what they've got going on behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
yeah, man. I hear you. I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's all I was gonna say.
But yeah, man, I hear you. That's what they're. In fact, that's why they have a new branch of the military, which I believe they call it the Space Force or whatnot, right? So they're just, you know, preparing themselves, for when that event finally happens.
Yeah, exactly. They can't pay all these people to be actors and just act like what are they gonna do during the day? Just sit there? They're working on something for sure. And then, but we
Right.
just see like them cheering. Oh, we landed on Mars. Like it's like that's like a day off for them. They're like, okay, guys, Friday you're gonna have a day off. Just show up, and then you're gonna sit in this room and just cheer. Okay. And the irony is that we actually did that once at Amazon when I worked there. This is how stupid the corporate world is. They brought us into a room, and all we were supposed to do was just yell and cheer, like celebrate something. And I'm like, what is
Yeah, yeah,
this?
man. Hey, we got Ridge on. Hey, my boy Ridge, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. What about y'all?
Eh, I'm surviving. Inside joke.
Yeah.
Chilling, man.
Yeah.
Ridge, what's your avatar? Is that a brain that's like a brain scan, or what is that?
Oh yeah, it's from my favorite band's album cover, Breaking Benjamin. He was sick, so yeah, so it's a brain scan.
So we have two minds and a Zinger's cake treat. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, good observation. Good observation. Hey, have any of you ever tried one of those before?
No, actually, I would be opposed to it. It does. I don't know if it looks particularly that I would like it, but I haven't tried one.
Dude,
Hey, man. Hey, you gotta try one of those, man. Those be damn good, man. You gotta get you get a damn box of them for probably like, I think $3 or something like that. You get like 10
yeah,
of them or something. Hey, they're good, man. Give them a try. Go ahead.
Okay.
This might just be a LA thing, but have y'all ever been to Long John Silver's?
Oh
No.
yeah, I like that place. Pretty good.
Yeah, man. Back in the day, you could go up there and order deep fried Twinkies. That was pretty good.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Anyway, Rich, hey, we were live last night, man. I see you stopped in the comment board, man. But hey, you could have joined us, man.
I was I don't remember what I was doing yesterday.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. But anyway, man, you have any subject you want to bring on the table?
Well, I'm not really sure actually. I just decided to stop by. Is there anything that y'all are talking about?
Well, Ridge, can I ask you something, dude? You're in California, roughly?
No, I'm in Louisiana.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I was going to ask you about the status of the thing over there. Like, are they starting to, because it looks like in San Francisco, they're starting to move forward with that. So I was just wondering. That's cool.
And what ways are they moving forward in it over there? Are they making you get that before you go into a establishment, or
yeah,
what are they doing?
I mirrored a video in San Francisco, and then San Francisco is the rainbow capital, of the U.S. So not a big surprise that they're doing it first. But I think your prediction's right. 6 months to a year, without a doubt, it's going to be just to get a burrito. My favorite burrito bowl at Chipotle. You'll need it.
Right. You know what I'm saying, man? So, yeah, man, I would say, going off of what I'm saying, or may I say seeing, I would say it's probably just going to be 6 months to a year, before they did it, which, of course you got to watch the words you use on here. So
yeah,
I'm sly with my word, but yeah, that's my viewpoint on that. Ridge, what are your thoughts? And remember, refer to it as the thing, because, you'll get the video taken down.
Man, I think it's going to get to the point where we might end up having to go homeless or something. Like, we might not be able to even carry a job in the future without getting this. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just saying it really looks like that's where it's headed, unless people stand up. But we have so many virtue signalers. There's people that actually run around thinking, "Oh, I'm saving lives. I'm saving the world because I got the thing." Like, no, you're not saving anybody.
Yeah, exactly. I saw an Instagram post of one of the women who developed the technology behind the thing, and she's like, her shirt said, "A black girl will save the world," and I'm like, it's crazy, dude. So they really think that they're on something here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's crazy. What's what we're seeing right now, and as well, man. Which I don't know if you guys watch it, but this channel is named what is it? There's a couple of them. You have Epic Economist, and you have the Atlantis Report. Do you guys know who that is?
I got to look into that today. I'll take a look. I've heard of it, but I got to see what's going on.
Yeah, man. Which I actually purchased one of their books. They have a book by Michael Snyder. It's entitled "The Lost Prophecies of the Future of America." Hey, mine got. Go ahead. You got to pick up a copy of that book, man. Read that in your free time. Okay, you got to look into that. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, that actually sounds like something I would probably enjoy. I'll check it out.
Yeah. I have the book, man. I purchased it, and I read that in finished that book in 3 days or something, man. It's 300 pages long, but it's a very, very good book, man. Very good book. Recommend you guys look into that. It's only $10 on Amazon.
Yeah, once I finish the Apocrypha, I think I'll be. I don't know how much Bible stuff I'll do after that. I'll have more time to do these things.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Have you ever read the entire Apocrypha before?
Yeah, I have. This is the second time. This might be the third time actually that I'm going through it.
What are your thoughts on these cats out here that say that it's not inspired?
I mean, I think that's insane. I think for me, I'm searching for a particular pattern, so it's very obvious that it is, part of the scriptures. I think those people, you're the type that the irony of that whole thing is that, how we've been saying with good servant, or who I call bad serpent. If you bring them parts of the actual Bible, and the 66 books, they won't read some of those. So the irony is that they're like, okay, so like you don't think that the Apocrypha is canon, but you don't read any of these other books either. So like, why would we listen to you? Even that
Yeah,
guy that
yeah,
I mentioned.
just like when we had remember Tony when he called in the show, which again, I'm not there's no beef with that guy. Hey, if he can be respectful, then we'll bring him on anytime. It's cool. We're not gonna hold a grudge against him. But it was funny because what happened was, he was talking about, well, certain parts have been, changed and whatnot. It's like, okay, so how do we know what parts were changed and what parts are not changed? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And just like I believe it was Two Letter J made a statement, right? He was talking about, that Satan was originally, a female or whatnot. So I went to the verses that talk about, that literally mention the word, right, him or he, right,
Yeah.
which implies that it's a male. And he said, well, you see, that was all changed. It's like, okay, then. So what about what if I was to make a statement and say that Christ was actually female, but they changed it to make it look like it's a him? How would you know that's not true? But how would your statement be true? You see the hypocrisy, which I know he was very sincere with it, so I'm not at all bashing him. But I don't see the logic behind such a statement. My God, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think that for us, we know now this is what people don't like when we bring it out, but we're bringing it out to comfort people. We know that God is behind the deception. And obviously, if he alters the Bible or removes books, God did that because then he wants people to go into those other books like the Apocrypha. You have to maybe order it separately. Mine has it inside, in the one that I ordered, but he wants that. You got to go dig.
Hey,
You got
hey,
to
man,
go.
go ahead and pull up what is that? Job 12 and 6 deal. I mean
Yeah,
Job 12 and 16. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, pull that one up real quick. And Ridge, what do you think on that?
Yeah, I don't know the verse off of the top of my head, but there's a verse that basically says, you need to have the word of God in your heart, and I think what that means is, like in the end days, people is going to try to cover things up. Fake translations are going to be taking stuff out, so
Right.
you just have to know, you just have to have the word of God in your heart.
Job
Right.
12:16, with him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his.
Yeah, and it's funny, man, because I'll let you talk in a second, but it's funny because when you bring that up to Tony or good servant, they don't really know how to respond to that because that's the first time that they've ever heard that presented before, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're again, we leave hope for everybody, but fundamentally that group is a Bible non-literalist group. So not just that verse, but many verses. Again, we leave it open. Maybe God can change anybody's hearts fundamentally. But yeah, if you don't take the Bible literally anywhere, then yeah, you can say it's been altered and it won't mean very much. Because if you do take 80% of the Bible, you could take out the 20% that is prophetic or the most potent or have certain implications on your day-to-day living, and then the Bible becomes useless. So Christ comes in the volume of the book, the whole thing.
Well, no, to me, like age, I don't think you take the Bible literally when it's talking about that nothing that goes into a man defiles them, because you're trying to
Okay.
look at the context or
Okay, let's
whatever.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Hey, mind of God, go ahead and pull up Matthew chapter 15 and verse 2 for me. Let's read this real quickly, and then I'll throw it back to Rich. But the reason I want to get this first is I was actually studying Matthew just the other day because I'm reading the New Testament again, and I found this verse. Because remember, what they were talking about in that chapter was eating with unwashed hands. And just to prove it, I'm going to show you a verse before the statement you're trying to address, where it literally says, and that's the context of the discussion. So, mind God, you got that verse for me?
You said Matthew 15:2.
Yeah, Matthew 15 and verse 2.
Okay.
Or start at verse 1. Start at verse 1, but we'll get 2 as well.
Okay. Matthew 15:1, then came to Jesus scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do you also transgress the commandments of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, honor your father and mother. And he that curses father and mother, let him die the death. But ye say,
Okay,
whosoever shall...
that's cool, man. Sorry to cut you off. I just needed the top two verses. So the reason I'm bringing that out
Yep.
is because now we understand that this is the context of the whole discussion. So now you can jump down to verse 17, and we'll read that, and we'll go to verse 20. If you can get
Well,
that, it'd be good.
Yep. Do not ye
And then,
yet
Ridge,
understand...
then I'll let you talk in a second, Ridge. Okay, I just want to read this so we can get the context, but then I'll let you respond. All right?
Yeah. Do not yet ye understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceedeth out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile a man. For out of the heart proceedeth evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man.
So, get Ridge. You can go ahead and respond.
yeah. So this is basically more of just Jesus in general correcting the, what's in the Old Testament law. Like, as you can see, it wasn't just unwashed hands. He was just saying in general, they brought up how you're supposed to love your mother and father or whatever, and Christ says, if you don't hate your whole family, you can't come to me. So,
Well, that's a different topic, though. We're dealing with the eating with unclean hands, because the reason I brought up the context, right? Because if you go up, the whole thing was about eating with unclean hands. So when he talks about the thing that goes in the mouth doesn't defile you, it wasn't talking about eating what you would like. He was clearly talking about if you don't wash your hands after you use the restroom or after you work in the field and you don't wash your hands, when that germs and dirt goes into you, it's not going to defile you. So mind of God, you see what I'm getting at here? What is your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, you could interpret it sort of both ways, because the food, Christ is saying that the food itself is going to get expelled, and then, but the point that you can make about pork and other things is why it's not healthy, is because it actually doesn't leave your body. It actually sits there. It becomes like a toxin. And so that's why God has rules for certain things being unhealthy, because the way the body's designed, it's not going to understand what that is. And it's going to treat it like a toxin. And then it will sit, in your intestines. And I haven't looked into this deeply, but I think if you do research on it, foods like pork and stuff like that, they stay in your body for like months. Your body remembers that you ate pork like 3 months ago, kind of thing, until it can fully get rid of it.
I just want to, yeah, you're right, man. You're right. I just want to throw something out there, and then I'll let Rich respond. Mind of God, can you pull up Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter, when we read about how they were, put to death for not eating pork? Okay. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's like, wait a second. So these people back then, right, they were killed, right? I believe it was 7 of them, because they did not eat swine's flesh when they were commanded to do so. So you're saying that back then, they didn't do it because the Bible says not to. But today, we can freely eat those things, Richard. Is that what you're saying? Just so I can understand.
well, look, I'm just saying in general, there's been so many things that Jesus has corrected within the Old Testament or changed or whatever. And that's why, like I said, that's why I brought up the mother and father thing. Literally, one of the 10 Commandments is, to honor your father and mother. Jesus says to hate your father and mother. And there's just so many examples. You look at the adulterous woman, where Jesus said, he who is without sin cast the first stone. So point is, he's come to earth and changed a lot of things, and Jesus also made the.
Go ahead.
Well, Jesus also made the point, that in that verse, it's not about what goes into you, but what comes out. So basically, literally, his main point is about, not to say things that are, like what comes out of your mouth is what defiles you. That's his point.
Mind of God, you got that verse I was talking about?
Yeah, where in this? I'm actually reading it now. I'm just not sure where it talks about.
I'm not sure the exact verse, but I know it's in Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter. It speaks about how they were 7 sons were put to death because they decided not to eat swine's flesh when the king commanded them to, eat that. Now, as far as what Ridge was talking about, I do want to address this with the woman that he forgave, right? Do you think if she went and did the action again, they would have followed the law? Which, what was the law? Back then, they would be, stoned for that type of activity, right? But he decided to be merciful in that extent. That's why, which I don't know the verse off the top of the head, but it says what? That I will show mercy unto who I show mercy, and compassion to who I will have compassion. So the Lord can choose to do whatever he would like to do. He can forgive somebody, or he would not forgive somebody. It just depends on his perusal. Anyway, Ridge, I'll throw it back to you, and then we'll let Mine Guy get in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it comes down to it, like in the Old Testament, that is what they were required to do, to stone the woman. So, I mean, right?
Yeah, and they were going to do that. That's why when Christ went, they were going to stone the woman. But in that circumstance, he decided to be merciful. But if she was to go and do that again, then they would have carried out the law. But
So,
that's why I
so,
quoted the verse that says, "Go ahead."
so that shows that Jesus literally went against the Old Testament law.
Well, just like for an example, right? King David, he committed adultery, which is a sin unto death. He slept with another man's wife. But guess what? The Lord decided he'll let him slide. He gave him a pass, even though he committed a great sin, right? So I mean, how would you think about that? I'm going to pull up the verse right now, but go. You can go ahead and respond.
Well, I mean, once again, we're not in the Old Testament, and Jesus is very merciful, and Paul even saying, that he's the chief of sinners, and at this point, nobody really has room to speak out against people who commit adultery, because if you look at a married woman, you've committed adultery in your heart.
Yeah.
If you have a thought of hurting somebody, you've committed murder in your heart. That's how serious all this stuff is. So nobody
Wait,
really has. So yeah, nobody really has room to judge anybody or stone anybody, especially in today's age.
Yeah. ETT, do you understand that point? I know you bring this up, but do you actually understand what you're saying?
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
now. I think it just
Okay.
dropped
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
minute.
I just want to read something real quick, and then
Yeah.
I'll answer what you asked me.
Yeah.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, and verse 15. It says, "For he said unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have mercy. I have compassion." Right. So now we're understanding that the Lord can decide to have mercy on an individual, or he might decide not to. It just goes down to his perusal. Anyway, Monica, what was your question you asked
Yeah,
me?
but do you understand that instance that happened with the woman in adultery? Do you believe? So you would say that that's an isolated incident. You wouldn't say that Christ then could spiritually be present at all of those judgments and say you would think he would say something different. Is that your position?
Well. I already answered that because I gave an example about how the Lord can uh, forgive somebody if He decides to. That's why I just read the scripture. I believe it was what is that? Romans 9:15. I believe it was says, "What I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion." Just like, and I gave an example.
Mm-hmm.
King David committed adultery, right? Which we agree, according to the text, is a sin unto death, right? So King David committed a sin unto death, but the Lord let him go. Now, what he did is he took the life of his child that he had with the woman, but the punishment for that, according to the law, was death, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he showed mercy unto him by letting him keep his life, right? So that's what I'm saying. Just like with the woman, that was the judgment that was to be done. But he told her what? Basically, what he says, I'll let it go this time. But he told her what? Go and sin no more. So if she did it again, then they would have carried
Well,
out the law. So yes, that was an isolated incident. Ridge, you can respond, and I'll throw it to Monica.
Mm-hmm.
it's not an isolated incident, because if that was the case, literally almost every Christian would be struck down by now by God. There's been studies done showing that more preachers than anybody else have a pornography addiction, and a lot of them women are married, and you've committed adultery in your heart, just by looking at them. And as simple as that. That's how serious, God takes this kind of sin. So uh, we're in an age of mercy now. Like I said, Paul said he's the chief among sinners. Like literally, we would all be straight dead by now if we were still going under that law.
Mighty God, you want to throw something in?
Well, I would say that this is where it is sort of kind of both people are right. I would say that it is ultimately God's judgment because He decides how people are pardoned, and all that. And then it's generational too, because God will visit that person's sins, and you don't know what King David had to experience in the next life because of that and that kind of thing. So know that you can't quote unquote get away with it. Okay, that's not the way it works. He didn't pass on that punishment to his son and be like, oh, whatever, I'll just give it to your kid. You don't have to worry about that. No, he's going to pay for that in some way, in some fashion. He will, and so we have to believe that. And so even that woman that did that, she sat there and was embarrassed by that situation. So she, in a sense, paid for it. And then, yeah, God gave her the pass in that sense. But, just know that. So no one is, quote, getting away with it. So I'm not sure what you mean when you say God just forgives whoever He wants. What do you mean by that? He forgets that and then doesn't make them pay for it? Is that what you mean? ETT?
You asking me that question?
Yeah.
I don't recall making that statement. I brought up. Let me pull this up real quick. I want to
No.
have you get this.
No, the point with the
Go ahead.
King David passing on the punishment to his son. Do you believe that King David does not have to account for that in any way himself?
Well, he did. He did account for it though, because that's why when you read the story, right? What happened was, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, what happened when you read the story, right, is the son that he had born to him, right, by the woman that he slept with, the Lord took the life of his son. So King David lost his son that he had with that woman. So he did pay in that extent, but the Lord did show mercy to him. You know why? Because the judgment for that sin is death, according to the scriptures. So the Lord decided to punish him in a different way. Mighty God, I want you to pull something up for me.
Yep.
Go ahead and get Romans chapter 9 and verse 15. Were you able to hear me?
Yep. I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. So anyway, I'll go ahead.
For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. For those numerology people, that's 9, 15, 24, 44. That's for God's elect, for people to understand. He that have an ear.
Right. But now, can you see why I made that statement earlier? You see, there's certain instances where the Lord will decide to give somebody a pass, as we're clearly seeing in this, and they would waive the judgment. But He can also decide not to do that. Mighty God, what is your thoughts on that verse?
Yeah, that's the whole Bible narrative. Okay, God's right hand side, which consists of Yahushai, the two witnesses, the elect, and His mixed multitude. That's who Christ died for. So ultimately, they're getting a pass. Okay, they deserve the same fate as all the other people that are going to die in the lake of fire because they've sinned. So they're ultimately getting a pass. They're the ones being conditioned and groomed for the kingdom. So yes, that is true in the macro sense and on the micro sense, for sure. So those people that were surrounding that woman, they might have been on God's left-hand side. They'll administer that judgment, okay? But that woman, God was probably using that situation to tell her, don't do this anymore because you're on the right-hand side, but just stop doing that, okay?
Right. And that's the exact point that I'm trying to make, is that was the one time He let her go. That's why He said in the text, if you read it, He said, what? Go and don't do this action again. All right. He said, go and sin no more. Right. So if they found her doing it again, then that's going to be on her. But He gave her a pass that time, and He didn't have to do that, because remember, the law says their activity is condemnable by death. Right. So He just showed mercy. And the verse that I brought up, which is what, Romans 9 and 15, it says, what? I will have mercy on whom I decide to have mercy. I will have compassion on whom I will have this compassion on. Right. So you see, I would say that clearly proves my argument that the Lord He knew the law. Yahushua knew the law, but He decided to show mercy that once. But if they do it again, well, then they have to be punished according to the law. Mighty God, would you agree with my statement?
Yeah, I think that we agree. I think you would. I think we would disagree on those people that are administering those judgments are probably not on God's right hand side. You would say that they are, but in that instance, um, those people that Christ is saying only do it if you haven't sinned. You would believe then that when Christ leaves, then they'd be allowed to do it, right?
Here, make that statement again.
When Christ says, the first made, cast a stone if you haven't sinned, right? The
Right.
interaction. So you would say that when he leaves, or let's say the next day that would happen, you believe that now that Christ is gone and the woman does that sin again, you believe then they're allowed to go and do it.
Well, of course they would, because is that not the law? If you commit adultery, if a woman sleeps with another man, it's not her husband, they would be put to death on that. You agree that's law, right? So they were just following the law. And if Christ wasn't there, there's a great chance that the woman would have been stoned to death. But since Christ was there, he decided to give her mercy. Would you disagree on that, or do you agree that is the law that they were following?
No, I understand, but should they not be impacted by what he said? You believe no, I guess, right? You're just like, nah, isolated incident. He's gone now. I'll just do our own thing. You don't think they should be moved by what he said in that prior
Well,
interaction?
I mean, maybe they could, but again, they were following the law, which is it not true that the Lord, the Most High God, gave the law and tell them how to follow it, right? So if a woman committed adultery, right, slept with another man who is not her husband, that was a sin unto death. Okay, so the judgment was real in that time. All right, they wouldn't play around. If you break the law, you
Yeah.
get punished for it. Right. So these are certain examples where the Most High or Yahweh Shai decided to show compassion and mercy. He did not have to because they broke the law, but he decided to in that instance.
What
Okay.
do you
Now
think
why?
he was? But
Or
what do you
go
think
ahead.
he was trying to teach the people who were about to throw the stone? What do you think that you don't understand that he's being completely consistent? You're just missing the point, man. When he's saying that to them, he's saying you can't come here and start throwing stones when you yourself are deserving of the stones on the other end. You don't understand that?
Right. Right. I agree with that. But would you agree that is the law the Most High
It
gave
is the
them to
law of the
follow?
Most High, but the people that are doing that, they have to come and be pure. And so if you're not pure, don't come to the rock throwing event. Okay. How do you not understand that as a person who reads the Bible regularly? I don't get it. How do you not
Well, I
understand
do.
that?
Well, hold on, brother. I wanted to respond. I do agree with you to a certain extent, because what would they do back then is they would have right, the ministers, right, the priest of the Most High. They would be the ones to orchestrate these punishments, right, where somebody needed to be put to death. They would have the priest orchestrate that
Right.
in
Right.
many of the cases. So I do in a sense do agree with the point you're getting at. Anyway, let's let Ridge join in
No,
for
no,
the minute,
but
because
no,
he
we have to wrap this.
go ahead.
We have to really understand this. So you do, I just to make sure we agree. So I agree with you in the sense that the law has to be fulfilled, no doubt. Okay, that's what it is, right? So, but Christ then says the only way that you can come to this rock throwing event is if you or yourself are not deserving of what's going to happen, right? And then the Bible says if you break one aspect of the law, you're breaking all of them. So the people that can administer that have to be what? Righteous people. Okay, do you understand that? Based on what Christ said
Uh,
and based on
yeah,
the
yeah,
you can't be
I agree.
okay, good. So that's why. So if Christ says, okay, this we have a woman committing adultery, you show up tomorrow afternoon, and then these people, you're going to be the ones who are going to come and do it, and he's going to ask the same question, and then let's say a new set of people come, okay, he's going to ask the same question, but those people have to then be without sin. They have to be righteous people, okay? They can't be the ones who are you can't go and put someone on an electric chair when that person who's doing it needs to be on the chair themselves, okay? That's not the way it works, even in this disgusting society that we live in. So do you understand that the only people that can administer the law are righteous people? Okay. And the thing that we learn in that story, the quote story, is that Christ was the righteous person. And what did he do in that situation? So any person after that should then evaluate, well, what did Christ do in this situation? Okay. I'm not saying the law doesn't get fulfilled. They still have to deal with the sin, no doubt, because that's their courts in those days. But that person needs to be moved by what Christ did. Okay.
Let
Because
me
he
let me ask you a
decided.
question
No,
real
do
quick,
you
man.
understand? Do you understand what I just said?
Yeah, I understand, but now I
Okay.
got to ask you something.
Okay.
Do you agree that there's certain laws in the text that are punishable by different things? For an example, if you steal something in the law, you are not put to death. You just have to, I believe it was, you just had to pay them back for the things that you stole.
Yeah.
Near paraphrasing it, but there was other things that you did. Say, for an example, if you commit murder, that would be a sin that you would have to be put to death for. But the point is, if you steal something, okay, that is not something that you're put to death for, right? Do you agree with that, or do
Yeah,
you?
but why didn't how should I say that? Why didn't he say anybody can throw the stone as long as you haven't committed a worse sin than what she did? Why didn't he say that? Because then they probably could have thrown the stone because they haven't committed adultery. So I have to ask you the question: why didn't how should I say that?
Let's see. Well, because at those times, right, those men, they probably didn't commit a sin that they had to what's the word I'm looking for? Be punished for, right? They didn't steal anything. They didn't commit they didn't sleep with a married man's wife. They didn't do any of those things at the time. Now, hell, maybe they committed a sin, in their house or anything, but that wasn't in public, right?
Yeah.
So since that woman was publicly known that she did that, they would bring the men of the city and they would stone him. Now, I got to ask you something, my man. I got to
Yeah.
fire a slug at you. When you
Mhm.
go to Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, when it speaks about the stubborn and rebellious son, it says what? That the men of the city shall stone him with stones. So those men who stoned him, did they have any sins, or were they all sin free?
Um.
Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, I believe it's the 19th verse on down. If you want to pull that up for us, that's good. We can read that together and reason on it. Can you pull that up real quick?
Yeah. Deuteronomy. What story again?
Deuteronomy chapter 21, start at verse 18, and we'll read on down from there. The stubborn and rebellious son is what it's about.
Let's see. Deuteronomy 21:18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out into the elders of the city and unto the gate of his place, and they shall say unto the elders of the city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious, he will not obey our voice, he is a glutton and a drunkard, and all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, and he die, so shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel
Right,
shall
right.
hear and fear.
Okay. Now the reason I'm bringing that out, right, is I said what? That the men of the city, right? He went to the elders and they gave the judgment, and
Yep.
the men of the city stoned him. So are you going to say all those men were sin free, or why did they judge him that way? Because he committed a sin that, in that context, it was known, right? So he had to be put to death for that. And look at what else is said, that all the city might hear and fear, right? So they would see these things, they go and watch, and they would know, oh well, shit, I better not go and commit that, or else
Yep.
I'm going to be, used. Just like, say, for an example, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Lord said what? That let them be used as the example to those that come after. That if they are like this, they'll receive the same judgment. Okay, so they were used. Say, for example, right, the woman, they would be publicly stoned for committing adultery. So the other woman who watched the stoning, they would know, okay, well, I better not do that, or I'll end up in the same, condition. But the point I'm bringing this up for, as
Yeah.
you brought up, well, what it says, the people stoned her, so but they have sinned. It's like, okay, well, the men of the city stoned this man for not obeying his father and mother. So were they without sin, or did they also have sins as well? Go ahead.
Well, let's go through this. Let's slow down, okay? Let's relax here. So this is a good one, okay? Let's look at the sequence of events. So you have a stubborn and rebellious son. Okay, he's obviously like evil, glutton and a drunkard. Okay, he will not obey our voice. Okay, so what happens then? They go to the elders of the city, which can represent Christ, Yahushua, or the Father in like a higher level terms. Okay, so they go to a righteous judge, and then they're like, "This is our son, rebellious," because they bring the case before them, and then the elders decide, okay, get rid of them, right? Do you agree that's the sequence of events?
Yes, in this
Okay.
chapter, I do agree
So
that's a
the
sequel.
elders, they're not the ones who are, they're just saying, they said, okay, all the people just go and kill them. Okay. all the men of the city shall stone him. So it's not the elders, they're the ones who decided. Okay. So in the spiritual sense, God then looks at what's going on. Okay. He gives them a chance. Okay. Does the son come around or whatever? No. Okay. Then God's like, okay, then you would call him Esau or whatever, God's left-hand side. Then God says, send the spirits to them and get them. Okay. That's the sequence. It always works like that. I don't know why you think this is any different than in Christ's time and any different than anything that's even happening now. It's the same thing. All the men of the city, they're not the righteous people. They're just like freaking anybody who they want, just kill the guy. Okay. They don't have to be righteous. The decision was made. And then God uses his left-hand side to go and enact the judgment. Left or right-hand side. It doesn't matter.
All right. I suppose that's a fair statement, but you see the point of why I'm bringing that up, right? Because you said that, but the men of the city, they how could they stone her if they had sinned of their own? It's like, okay, so I went here and I said, what, the average men of the city would stone him, right? So you can see the reason why I brought you here.
Yeah, I just want you to know that exact scene played out with that woman in the case with Yahushua. He was the quote elder. Okay, in that Deuteronomy that you read, which is fantastic. I may do a lesson on this. This one's good. So he represents in this narrative the quote unquote elder of the city. Okay, so the parents, in this case, that's the woman, pleading their case, or the people saying, hey, this woman has committed this thing. The elder in Christ's case says, Yahushua's case says, okay, that is the righteous judgment. Now I'm going to only allow you to do that if you don't have any sins. Then go ahead. Okay. So that's the same thing. It's the exact same scene that played out. Okay. Except Christ raised the bar and said, the only people that can punish her, I don't want the riffraff of the city. I want righteous people to come and do this. Okay. And then what did he find? There are no righteous people to do it. So that's
Right. So I don't see why we would disagree on that. I mean, it seems like we're both pretty much in agreement. As far as I'm seeing, we're pretty much in an agreement on that.
No,
But
we
yeah,
are.
man, you should do.
We are.
Go ahead.
The only thing I want to clarify, and it's subtle, but it's important, is that I don't want to ever disagree with it that the law needs to be enacted, because we both understand that the law is eternal and then it's going to be in the kingdom. So I'm not trying to dilute that by having this discussion, right? This dialogue. But there's a lesson that's involved in this with what Christ is saying. And it's sort of what I think Ridge was getting at about mercy. Okay. There is mercy that is needed in the law, and it's not always obvious how to enact it. It's not because it's not written. Okay, do mercy between this 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no rule like that. Okay, but there are lots of laws that, obviously all the laws need to be enacted, but there are aspects of them needing to still be merciful, and that's what Christ brings. That's why he's the fulfillment of the law, because he's adding the mercy. So I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah. I mean, from what I'm seeing, we're pretty much in an agreement on that. We pretty much came to reasoning on that subject of discussion. So we can move on from that. It looks like we lost Ridge. He said I'll be back in a bit. Hey man, if you're still watching, jump on. But anyway, let's go back over what we were talking about the foods, right? So I brought up Matthew. Well, let me think a second. Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter, right? Because if you read that, these 7 brethren were killed because the king told them, eat swine's flesh or we'll torture and kill you, right? So they decided to be killed because they didn't want to transgress the commandment, right? So we look at that, but then how can we turn around and say, yeah, go ahead. But then how can we turn around? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and 2 Maccabees 7:1, for numerology people, this is 2 times 7, 14. This is the way God's elect are, and this is why we're in the end times, okay? 2 Maccabees 7. It happened also that 7 brothers and their mother were arrested and were being compelled by the king under torture with whips and cords to partake of unlawful swine's flesh. One of them, acting as their spokesperson, said, "What do you intend to ask and learn from us? For we are ready to die rather than transgress the laws of our fathers." So that's the way God's elect is. That's why GMS and all these demons are not part of the elect. Okay. I say that confidently because that's the attitude of the elect. Okay. So what is your take on that? That's the way the Israelites are. I'd rather die than to sin. Where are those people in the world right now, ETT?
Well, what sin is there that you're saying that GMS is committing? I have to understand that first because I don't know what you're getting at.
I
They
don't
don't
even
eat
know where to
pork.
start. I guess. I mean,
Well,
how long do we have? I guess.
I mean, I don't have to go yet. I can probably go for another hour or so if you're free.
Well, no, I was being sarcastic. I mean, where do I begin? Where do I begin
Well,
at the sins of
okay.
GMS?
Okay. I'll ask you this. I'll ask you this.
Yeah,
What sin is Great Millstone committing that is worthy of death? Because remember, there are sins in the scriptures that are
yeah.
not sins
Do you
unto death, and
do you
some that
agree
are.
that there
Go ahead.
are that the couple Ananias and were killed because of a lie?
Um,
As an example,
what book is that in?
I can get the verse, but they were killed because they lied to the elders in Acts.
Yeah. I would agree to that. Yes.
Okay, so why are they teaching the ball earth? That's a lie, isn't it?
I would agree. However, just like for an example, right? All of us are probably teaching something that is a lie that we're maybe unaware of. Right now, you're going to turn
No,
around and
that's
say, "Well, they
different.
are
No,
aware."
that's the
Go
no,
ahead.
no, no. I would say the elect are not teaching. They have no guile according to the Bible. So what do you mean by that?
Okay, to give an example, right? You
Uh,
say that you're the only one. Well, hold on, bro. Let me talk.
Yep.
You
hmm
say you're the only one on YouTube who's teaching, exactly the teaching you're saying, say, for example, the two witnesses and the events, right? How everything's going to play out. You're the only one on there teaching that. There's nobody
Yep.
else doing that. So with that being said, how could, if there's 144,000, elect on the earth right now, well, they can't all be teaching the exact same as you because you're the only one that's on there teaching the exact way that you're looking at it. So you see, the point is that the other elect, they're going to view something different from how you're viewing it, dealing in the text. So what would your thoughts on that one be?
Well, no, I've no. We have no issues with the fact that people don't know everything, but you're not allowed to. You can't. You just say you don't know. They'll say it. They don't know. Okay, some of them are blind, so that they probably haven't read in this generation a book. So they're not going to make up stuff, and be like, oh, this, that. If you ask them what's the shape of the earth, they'll be like, I don't know. I can't see. Okay, that kind of thing. So they're not going to say and get angry and all that kind of stuff. They know that it's flat, man. But anyway, sorry. You want me to read this in Acts?
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, Acts 5:1. But a certain man named Ananias and Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession and kept back part of the price, his wife also being privy to it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why hath Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost and to keep back part of the price of the land? This is the exact same thing as we read, by the way, for people in Deuteronomy 21. It's the same scene. Okay, you have a righteous judge, okay, Peter, and you have these demons that come by here and lie, and then look what happens to them. Why hath Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost and to keep back part of the price of the land? Whilst it remains, was it not thine own? He's like, you didn't even have to do it. You didn't have to give any of it. And after it was sold, was it not thine own power? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart that thou hast not lied unto men, but unto God? And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost, and great fear came upon all them who heard these things. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after his wife, not knowing what is done, came in, and Peter said unto her, tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. And she said, yea, for so much. And Peter said unto her, how is it that you have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then she fell down straightway at his feet and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. Same scene. Okay.
Right,
So,
right. I don't have anything to argue with that. I think we're in an agreement with
but
that.
what's the penalty for willfully lying? They know that the earth is flat and stationary. They know the earth doesn't move. Are you kidding?
Well, I mean, I would look at it this way. There's levels, to this thing. Some of those people in there are not ready to know, but I do agree they should be, teaching that teaching. They should be, all right, and I agree with that. I
Okay.
agree with that. However, there's certain lies that are, not, unto death. Say, for an example, even the Lord, had sent a lying spirit, right? And that. What was that? First Kings, the 22nd chapter. Right. So even the Lord, dips into lies for certain reasons. Say, for an example, brother, you admitted in multiple videos that we do have to lie to get around in Babylon. Say, for an example, right?
Yep.
Going back to the days of school, if you're late, you might say, well, I missed the bus, so I had to drive here. It's like, okay, but no, you just woke up late, right? So there's certain lies that you have to tell for the greater good. So are they lies? Yes, but they're not very severe because you have to tell them to get out of a certain situation that you find yourself in. You understand what I'm
But
saying?
that doesn't apply to them at all, because it has
Yeah,
nothing to do with
go
them.
ahead.
And I agree with your point about the lying spirits. God is behind the lying spirits, but they're the lying spirits. I'm trying to help you understand that, okay? Maybe you do now at this point, but yeah, I do believe that they're being controlled by God, but his left-hand side. Okay, and it is God doing it, because it's not logical for anybody, people like that who are deep into the Bible, to be like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. No, not that topic, and not these other topics. No, that doesn't make sense. What difference does it make?
Hey, we got Ridge in here. Let's let Ridge jump in for a few minutes because we were talking for like 20 minutes or so. So Ridge, what's going on, man?
I just had to do something real quick. What's the conversation on now?
I mean, we're just jumping around, man. I want to go back to let's see. Let's go back to discussing the whole thing about the flat earth for a little bit. So anyway, mind God, what I did is I reached out to the Zealots of Israel is his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I asked him about the flat earth, and he was like, which he's a break off of the Sakari group. But anyway, I asked him about it. He was like, well, flat earth is BS. So I was like, okay, well, what about this verse, which is what Joshua chapter 10 verse 12, which might have God, if you can you pull that verse up,
Yeah,
Joshua 10 and 12. So I asked him that, and he didn't know. So I did invite him to come on to our show in the future, and he did agree. He said, well, maybe I'll stop by. So that's good. Maybe the brother can stop by. But I did see on his page, I believe it's tonight or tomorrow, he's going to do a stream about the earth, the planets, and the stars, something about understanding that. So might have God, you might want to stop by that, man, and we can put him on the hot seat, so to speak.
Oh man, if I would like to do that, I think that
look up his page. Look up his page. It's called the Zealots of Israel.
Okay, the sellouts of Israel. Sorry, what did you say?
The Zealots.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Inside joke.
Yeah.
But no, dude. Who's that other guy that I think I came by based on your channel? The guy in Tanzania or whatever.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, that guy. His page name was The Awakened Pennsylvania.
Or the Tanzania 144. Remember that guy? I think he literally preaches by himself.
I'm not sure I remember who that is at the moment. If
that's fine. The only reason
I'm not sure.
The only reason I say that is that I went to one of his videos, and the guy has the freaking ball earth as his background on his phone. Like when he's doing like phone lessons, like how people record it on their phone. I'm like, really, dude?
Yeah.
You're a quote unquote prophet and he's GMS. It's like GMS Tanzania 144 or something like that. I'm like, dude, you have the freaking ball earth on your phone, man. I was sad, man, when I saw that. No. But I don't know, man. They know that it's flat, dude. Are you kidding me with all the stuff we know now? This crazy, dude. But I got Joshua pulled up if you want me to read it.
Yeah, go ahead and read that, man.
Okay, Joshua 10:11. And it came to pass as they fled from before Israel and were going down to Bethoron, and that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than by whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day that the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel, and he said, in the sight of Israel's son, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon, and the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord hearkened unto the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel.
Right. It's like you deal with it, and you point out, it's like, well, wait a second. It says that the sun stood still and the moon stayed. So that by logic, that implies that the sun and the moon are the ones who are moving and not the earth. It's like, and they don't know. It's just, well, it doesn't mean that. What they do is they try to explain it like, say, for example, well, from their perspective, it looked like the sun stood still. That's the best excuse I can hear from that. So, yeah. Ridge, after Mighty Gods responds, I'll let you go ahead and talk, all right?
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing in the Bible that supports any aspect of the current ball earth. not even the circular thing, because like I said, it's an oblate spheroid, and not about the Earth moving, not about the sun and the moon. Even if you read Enoch, I've heard, I'm going to go through that soon, that talks about the sun and the moon running a circuit and all that. The sun just visually is not 93 million miles away, so that's it. It's flat. It's flat, bro.
Right. Say for an example, what I do is I bring up, it's like, okay, yeah, it says it's a circle, but is it if I go to Domino's and I order a pizza, is the pizza a circle? They say yes. Okay, is it a flat circle? Yes. Is a car tire a circle? Yes. Is it a sphere? Is it a globe? No, but it's a circle though,
Yeah.
right? A frisbee is a flat round circle. Okay, just to name a handful. Oh, a clock. A clock is a flat circle, but are they globes? No. So how can these guys sit there and say, "Well, see, it says it's a circle, so the whole flat Earth, that's crazy." It's like, wait a second. The
Yeah.
flat Earth model is a flat round circle. All right, it's ridiculous.
Dude,
Ridge, you want
I
to
got
go ahead and
dude, I
throw
got a
something in?
one quick thing, ETT. I got a zinger
Yeah.
for you, man, that I wish you would have done with Urban Gorilla, because he tried to flex on you that he was a Levite and a priest and all that, and like, okay, but I was like, dude, he actually gave you. He's like, you're Issachar, so you should know about the stars and the firmament. You should have pressed him a little bit and be like, well, if I'm the expert, and then I would not be surprised if that tribe is very, very good at that. Well, then why don't you
Well,
take
did you?
our why don't they take
Right.
their understanding on the flat Earth?
Right, that's a good point. As I said, man, after watching it over, I did think of a few good points to bring out. But as I said, once you're in a debate in the midst of the fire, so to speak,
Yeah.
it isn't as easy to bring up things when you're on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
anyway, let's see. There was a point I wanted to bring up, but now I think it slipped my memory. Let's see. Um, damn. But anyway, Ridge, you have anything to throw in real quick?
No,
Oh,
still,
hold on. Sorry, man. Sorry to cut you off. It just came back to me. So before it goes away again, I just wanted to say it. Did you see what happened? What they did is GMS took a clip from the debate I did with the Sakari, and the one where he said that he was the high priest today, and they literally did like 200, maybe 300 videos, about that, man.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I saw Gabar. I think Gabar started it, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. Yeah, they roasted him for
Anyway,
that. That's absurd. And what's funny? It actually worked out poorly for them, because then they brought out all the other dirty laundry. You know what I mean? They started ripping him on other stuff. So.
Yeah, man. I hear you. Anyway, I asked him that question on purpose when I was on there, because I heard him say, well, you can't agree with me because I'm like the alpha when it comes to it. So, because he was saying he was a priest, so you can't disagree with him. So I
Hey,
asked him,
that
okay, then,
reminds me.
brother. Well, if you're Ridge, I'll let you talk in a second. Let me just get this in. So I asked him, okay, brother. Well, what about Elder Apostle Dahar? Is he a high priest? So he agrees he is. It's like, okay, then. So can you disagree with him then? And he really wouldn't be able to answer that. Anyway, Ridge, go ahead and respond.
Yeah, that reminds me, Age. Who was that guy that you were going to debate that said you had to pay like $400 to debate him?
Oh, that was a guy named the Sovereign Israelite. Look him up on YouTube. He said that guy is crazy. He's on there saying that Babylon the Great is the Vatican City, and it's that guy is insane. And he also says that he is the #1 educator in the entire world. I kid you not.
So
I've heard of that guy.
So how much money did he want you to pay him to have a debate?
I believe it's $300 every hour.
Jeez. Why does he charge $666 an hour?
that guy's crazy, man. That guy got to be smoking Cracula or something like that. Cat's insane, man. Saying that, I'll give him this. I believe he said the Earth is flat. I will give him that. But then he's on there saying
that's how he got famous.
Go ahead.
That's how he got famous, because he started going on places like the Modern Debate and Non Sequitur, and he was their kind of poster boy for the flat Earth, and that's how he built up his name. Like before my time, going on those platforms. So that's how.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got a history in the flat Earth game.
Right. But I wanted to have a conversation with him. Just same thing with Good Servant. All we wanted to do was to have a civilized discussion with him on his page. And it's like, well, you guys are mean to me. right? So it's like, so he knows everything, right? He believes in the Bible 100%, but he can't even have a civilized discussion of why we might see something differently. It boggles the mind how somebody cannot understand that. You know what I'm saying?
You know that picture that you showed in your Bible of you as a youngster, ETT, on the
Yeah.
last hangout. Okay, when you talk to a good servant, he's gonna make you turn back into that little kid. Like he's gonna talk about nothing. So you're gonna go backwards when you talk to bad serpents. Sorry,
Betty
no, good
Rip
Hey,
said,
servant. Sorry.
don't get me wrong. Hey, Ridge, I'll let you talk in a minute, but don't get me wrong, minded God. Look, I already know that good servant doesn't know a whole lot. I was just going to be fun with the guy, and test him on a few things he says, right? Just like what we did with the last time
Yeah,
that we brought him on, right? That brother, we brought up stuff, and he never even knew that even existed. But hey, I will give him credit though, because he did agree that it says that. So I do agree that it says that. I will give him credit on that because it's very hard. That's why you have something called cognitive dissonance, right? You can look that word up.
he
yeah.
was a nice guy though.
Anyway, Ridge, you can go ahead and join it.
Yeah, good servant was a nice guy though.
Yeah, he's pretty nice. He's pretty nice. He don't know a lot, but he's pretty nice. Absolutely.
I would say he's harmless. I think is a good way to put it. Like he don't really do too much. It's other people on the internet. You got to be careful because you don't know what they're how bored they are basically. So
Just like Tony doing a 12-hour live show. I mean, it's like, damn. I mean, how the hell can one sit there for 12 hours a day and do a live show? I mean, that's
yeah,
ridiculous right there.
I don't think there's many topics that I could sit for that long. Even though I love talking about the Bible, that's a long time. But man, dude, yeah, that's intense.
Age, oh crap, man, I'm stuttering. I remember back in the day, the Logan used to do like 5-6 hour streams. I mean that dude worked hard, man. It's sad that he hasn't
Who,
got
the Loving
bigger.
Christian?
Yeah,
Yeah. I like the Loving Christian, man. I don't think Mighty God knows who that is, but hey, me and him, we were sworn enemies for a while. He would do 5-hour live shows on me every single
Jeez.
morning. But
Yeah.
hey, we actually over time we actually became close friends, and we're still friends. Matter of fact, I reached out to him yesterday and asked him if he'd like to come on the show, and he was cool. He was like, "Yeah, man, we'll try to work something out in the future." So
yeah,
right, so same thing, with Tony or Good Servant. Hey, look, I'll be cool with the guys. If they want to come on and have a civilized chat, and that's cool, right? We're not at all trying to make enemies with anybody, even though we see
yeah.
differently. That's all
Yeah.
right,
Exactly.
right? We just want
Exactly.
to be cool with each other. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, we can't have them on here being all type of disrespectful, using all type of profanities, right? Watch your profanity inside
Yeah.
joke.
The good thing about this
On
panel is
here.
that the
Go
good thing
ahead.
about this panel is that we don't have an agenda because we have different views. It's not like you're coming on a panel where everybody agrees and then they're really defensive or offensive. Like this type of platform is a friendlier place to bring 501c3 ideas or Hebrew ideas or other ideas.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah. This platform, anybody is welcome on here. Well, as I said, we're not going to yell at anybody that comes on. We just want to have a civilized, you know, um, discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo,
Exactly.
ETT, you should have joined that stream I sent you with Trumpster Bob.
What was going on?
We uh, he does one like every night, and I've been joining like the past 2 nights. We just talk about whatever he was, but he was getting crazy, man. He was saying like that in other countries, they execute gay people, and that he supported it.
Yeah, man. We'll see. Maybe I'll join the show one day in the future, man. But as I said, man, I just pretty much a lot of people I used to listen to, man. I don't really listen to them anymore. Say for an example, what's that guy? That YouTube page called Now You See TV. Those guys are on there talking about, oh, well, UFOs are Satan and his angels in there. There's going to be a massive UFO deception or whatnot, and that's
Mm.
what they want people to think, right? They want you to think that when you see these UFOs, that that's just like demonic presence there, but in the truth, that's actually the angels, those
Right,
UFOs.
right. By the way, ETT, that's why they won't talk about the God being behind good and evil and this being hell, because they need hell to be out there. You see what I mean? Again, people hopefully will learn, over time what the Bible says, but that's why a lot of those people come here and they say, oh, no, like the demons are out there, and then they're going to come and do all that stuff.
Right. It's it's crazy, man. It's crazy. We got to talk about. As I said, I don't have to go just yet. I'm free to sit back and relax if you guys have some time on your hand.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got a
so
Red
am I.
Bull. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, man. As I was saying, what about that whole thing about my God, what about the whole adolescence thing? Have you looked into that or anything or?
Well, I mean, I just mostly by what I've heard from Deacon and you, and then the last couple hangouts with Awaken. Um, I don't think we're that far apart on that. I don't know. I honestly don't think I'm interested to look into it. So I'll plead ignorance. But I do believe, and I think you know this, I'm a Bible literalist. Okay. I'll read the Old Testament and take it literally just like I take the New Testament literally. So if there's doctrine about rape, about dealing with, young people and all that, I'll go with the Bible. It's what it
Okay,
is.
just so I know,
Yeah.
you do agree on this topic. Would you agree that GMS is right on that is in the text? You agree on that?
About the rape.
Yeah, that is in the skip cheese.
Yeah, for sure. I think like maybe we would be a bit I would say that the person is not quote unquote, I think you would even agree with this. They're not quote raping the girl like now in rape, like Jack the Ripper kind of thing. It's a different
Right.
time.
It's not like that. It's just like, say for an example, I brought up, if you Wikipedia this,
Yeah.
you have something called bride kidnapping, right? A man would take a woman against her will in the intent that he wanted to make her his wife, and that's what they're referring to. But yeah, I mean, it's clearly that's clearly in the scriptures, right? Which nobody's saying to do that today, right? But that did happen in the text. In fact, as I said, if you go on Wikipedia, right, you'll learn that this custom happens even today in certain parts of the world, such as India, Africa. I even seen something that it happens actually in Georgia. It said as well, but yeah, it's a real thing that actually happens, right? So GMS didn't make that up. It,
No,
it
not at
really
all.
is.
Not at
It's
all.
real. Yeah. It's
Not at
and you
all.
see certain guys get on them and are but that's so weird. So you see Great Millstone, right? GMS is so weird to teach something like that. But hey, my God, at least you agree that is in the text, though. You should do a
No, I
video
don't. I don't think it's. I don't
about.
think it's weird. I think it's weird to talk about it too much, but it's not wrong to bring out the Bible ever. No, that's the Word of God. So I don't think a lot of people can understand their paradigm outside of this age that we live in, and that's part of that. You know what we give credit to is God's left hand side for indoctrinating people so much that they can't imagine a time where men are in control. And what are you going to do? You don't go out in the streets and say, hey, do you want to date? Like this is the ancient times. What are you going to do? Oh, let's go to a restaurant. No, the men are looking for wives, and they're actually looking for multiple wives. So it's a time where men were in control, and they can't imagine that because of the verse we brought out. A woman will encompass a man.
Yeah, and
Passion.
that's why I
Yeah.
mean, hell, it's so bad now where now it's considered weird, if a man doesn't hold a door for the woman. But it's actually supposed to be the other way around. The woman is supposed to hold the door for a man. But you see, that's what they did. Is the whole world has been turned upside down. And matter of fact, Awaken Pennsylvania was going into this that everything that the scriptures say you can do, you can't do in America. But everything
Exactly.
the scriptures say everything the scriptures say that you can't do, you can do here. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It's
Exactly.
it's it's ridiculous.
So
Go
I
ahead.
don't. I have no issues with that. I think that again, it's just it's a function and a credit to how well people have been programmed to believe that women have all this power. And if people, not end times teacher, but if you really believe that, you're going to suffer the fate of that, because that's not what the Most High is all about at all. Okay, He knows what happens when the earth is run by women. Look around. Okay, it's not funny, but look around. This is what's happening. Okay. The Thing. That's just one of the many examples. Okay, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Hey, Ridge. What is your whole take on the subject we're talking about? What are your thoughts?
He might have dropped ETT, but while he's coming back, I'll read Jeremiah 31:22.
Go ahead.
How long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. So that's Bible prophecy.
Right. And that just shows Hey, Ridge, you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what is your whole thoughts on the subject we're talking about now?
I mean, yeah, I think everything's upside down, and it's sick how they you know, turn everything like that where women have it easier really with everything in America.
It's basically run by a group of like either men who are feminine or effeminate or feminine, but or women. This is what it is.
Right,
That's
right, man. It's just there's so much going on right now, and it's funny because people get on you for saying, "Oh, well, why are you guys, so upset about? What are you guys so angry about?" It's like I'll tell you what I'm pissed off about. I'm pissed about, everything that's going on right now. I'm pissed off about everything, that's that I find myself in. You know what I'm saying? It's just everywhere you go, there's no escape from the aggravation that
ET, can I?
this
Oh,
place causes. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry. I just want to point that in this line of thinking, okay, a man as designed by God, we want to fight. That's part of our um, DNA. We want to fight and win. The righteous battle, right? And so that's the way we're wired. Okay, so if the world was run by men, we would want to like fight, and then if we lose, okay, we lose honorably. Okay, that's the way the men of God are. Look at the world with this thing right now. Okay, they're trying to do the thing. People know what I'm talking about with the thing. That's not. It's like we're not even allowed to fight on our own. Okay, we got to go to everybody else for help and all that kind of stuff. So this whole vibe on this earth is against manliness. I'll pass it back to you.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I'm pretty much in agreement with that. Red, you have anything you want to throw in? You there, man? Yeah, he might have to go out and come back in. But anyway, mind of God, yeah, man. You should do a video, going over Deuteronomy the 22nd chapter, man. You should do a lesson on that.
Yeah, dude, I didn't mean to hit you with that slug. You know what I mean? Are you okay?
Oh, hey, man. I had my level 3 body armor on, man. Hey, I have been hit by a few slugs, but I'm still walking with ligma inside, Joe.
This is why I think this elements of this community is good, because you bring your vantage point, which is the law, and I think that's important because the whole world has completely ignored the law. So we need that. Okay, we need that. Then I have my angle, and then Ridge brings his perspective, and then we have a balance. So the answer is somewhere in there, kind of thing. But I never want to dilute the law. That's not my point. Just know that, ever, because it's eternal. We know that.
Right, right, absolutely, absolutely. And going back to what we were talking about, earlier, man, if it is okay, to be eating whatever we want, in this time period, but the one thing I would have to bring up would be, my God, can you go ahead and get Isaiah 66 and verse 17, but just so we can understand, start at verse 15, right? So
Yeah,
now we're
I like that one.
understanding that when Yahweh Shai returns, those who are eating these things, the Lord's going to kill them for it. So it's like, well, wait a second, why would we eat those things if we're reading and the scriptures inside, Joe,
Yeah.
that those people who are doing that are going to be punished when the Lord returns? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll read. You mind if I read Psalm 111 before I get that? This is in line with what we're
Yeah, go
talking
ahead.
about. It's actually a short
Yep.
one. I'll just read the whole thing if you don't mind. Praise ye the Lord. I will praise the Lord with my whole heart in the assembly of the upright and in the congregation. The works of the Lord are great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His work is honorable and glorious, and his righteousness endureth forever. He hath made his wonderful works to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and full of compassion. He hath given meat unto them that fear him. He will ever be mindful of his covenant. He hath showed his people listen to this. He hath showed his people the power of his works, that he may give them the heritage of the heathen. The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness. He sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever. Holy and revered is his name. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. That's an amazing psalm. So that's kind of in line with what we're talking about.
Right, right.
I'll get Isaiah 66:17. Ridge, I'll be here to help you defend yourself. Just know that.
Yeah, I think he dropped out again because of his connection issue. But hey, Rich, there's the fresh link in the chat for you. If that gives you a problem, just let me know and I'll put a new one in for you. All right.
Isaiah 66:17, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. And that's with real fire. Okay. That's all, folks.
Right. Right. So by reading that, how can we conclude that it is okay to eat those things today if we're reading about when Yahushua returns, that the people who are doing those things
Yeah.
are going to be severely punished?
Yeah, it's not okay to eat those things.
And let me see real quick. Hey, I'm gonna bring Ridge on. Hey, let me see. I invited him. Let me just add him real quick. All right. Hey, Ridge. What is your response to that, Skip G? We'll give him a minute. Maybe he's on. Oh yeah,
Read a
he's
little
on.
bit. I'll read a little bit around that just so we have the context too. So we're not just reading
Okay.
one of them.
Yeah, yeah. And Ridge, just so you know, you're on mute. Just make sure you unmute that when you come on.
I'll start with verse 13. As one whom his mother comforteth, so I will comfort you, and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb, and the hand of the Lord shall be known towards his servant, and his indignation towards his enemies. Verse 15, that's a very famous one. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by sword the Lord will plead, listen to this, with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Where's that Jesus that loves everybody? What verse is
Hey,
that?
Ridge, you have your mic on now, man. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Ridge. What is your faults about this verse? Mind of God, read that one more time in case he didn't hear it, and then I want him to go ahead and respond and tell us the understanding of it. All right.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
Right, Ridge. What is your thoughts on
I
that?
mean, once again, that was Old Testament stuff.
But that's talking about the coming of Christ, though, brother. It says when Yahushua returns, he'll come with his chariots and with fire. We all agree that didn't happen, the first time he came, right? That's talking about the second time when he returns. He's going to return with his chariots, right, in fire, and he's going to kill the wicked, right? But it says what? And those who are eating swine's flesh and the mouse, they shall all be consumed together, right? So are you saying this already happened?
I'm saying it's probably a metaphor.
Mighty God, what do you say about that? And this is good, Rich. We're not mad at you, man. We're just having a civilized,
Yeah.
chat with you, man. It's always good to have a discussion on it. You know what I'm saying? So you're cool, man. We'll still love you, no matter what you
Yeah.
view it is on the subject, man. But we just want to discuss it with you because I certainly disagree with your standpoint. So we just wanted to discuss it with you. But you're saying that this already happened, or this is a metaphor? What can this be a metaphor for?
It's just a metaphor for the end of times
But it
to
says
me.
those who are eating those things, though, will be consumed. Mind of God, read verse 17 again.
Okay. You're putting our good friend Ridge here on the hot seat, man. Ridge, just don't worry, man. I got you on this, okay? Isaiah
Yeah,
66.
Rich. Hey, you're cool, man. You're cool, Rich.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. That's a key word as well, and the abomination.
So Rich, you just so I know, you're saying that that's not literally talking about those foods, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll take that. I'll take that. Anyway, let's go to Isaiah the 63rd chapter. We can read. I think we can actually read the entire chapter. This is talking about when Christ returns, right? He's gonna kill people,
Wait
right?
one
So
second,
Rich,
BTT.
how do you go ahead?
I got a point. I got a
Go ahead.
point on 66:17. Just so people know, they don't always release the composition of the thing, okay? But in many of them, and I would not be surprised if in these ones, there's pork in there, Okay, if you do a Google search, there's something called gelatin. Okay, pork gelatin used in the thing. So understand that that verse that ETT is reading is very, very literal. Okay, God is not goofing around for anybody that hears this. Okay, just know that that stuff that's going on right now. If you're an actual Israelite or you're really in the Bible, you're not supposed to do that. And if you do, that's going to happen to you. And we don't care. Okay, let me read that again because it's very good. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh. You can look up that word. It means to consume it. Okay. It goes into your body. And the abomination and the mouth shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Look, think about this. Okay. These things that are coming out, where do they test those? Okay. They test them in rodents, right?
Hey,
And
let me ask Ridge a question real quick. Hey, Ridge, because
Yeah.
I want to make sure you get time to interact as well. But do you agree that when Christ returns that he's gonna kill people? Do you agree with that?
I mean, I think everybody that got the mark is going to pay for it, obviously.
Just refer to it as the thing from here on out, man. Um,
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
yeah. Let's go to Isaiah the 63rd chapter, and as I said, I believe we can read the entire chapter because it's all good. Basically, what is about is Christ when he was on earth spent his free time in the wine press, right? He was a man who was drinking much wine, and another good verse on that would be what Genesis 49:12. It says, "What his eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk," and that cuts to Christians that say that it's sinful to drink wine, which is ridiculous in and of itself. But anyway, minor guy, you got that skip sheet pulled
yeah,
up?
yeah, I can read the whole thing or
Okay.
some of it.
I
It's
believe
pretty short.
it's the
It's pretty
entire
short.
thing.
Yeah, I can read the whole thing.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens, that thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence. As when the melting fire burneth, the fire causeth the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. When thou didst terrible things which we looked not for, thou camest down, the mountains flowed down at thy presence. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O God, besides thee, that he that prepared for him that waiteth for him. Thou meetest him that rejoiceth and worketh righteousness, those that remember thee in thy ways. Behold, thou art wroth, for we have sinned in those in is continuance, and we shall be saved. But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. Am I reading the wrong? Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Sorry, ETT. That was 63. That was 64.
Yeah,
My bad.
that's
My
all
bad.
right.
That was a good one too,
That's
actually.
cool, man.
Yeah, Isaiah
Yeah.
63. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This is that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? It's a question mark. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come.
Right. Ridge, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, as I said, that's something we all, uh, 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 you know, that's something we all
Okay.
agree on.
Okay.
Because,
What about do you think that when Christ returns that he's gonna kill little ones as well, like babies and stuff like that, kids, or are they gonna get killed too, or
I don't have a comment on that.
but do you think that's gonna happen though, or do you?
I don't have a comment on that. I don't feel comfortable talking about that.
Okay. Minor guy, go ahead and pull up for me Matthew chapter 11 and verse 6 for me real quick.
We might lose Rage from this hangout, so just don't. We'll just go careful.
Yeah. And as I said, Rich, it's cool, man. We're not trying to, argue with you. You're cool, man. We'll respect your viewpoints, but we just want to
Yeah.
discuss with you, certain, parts of the teaching that we might differ on, right? Because it is in the text, so we got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And this is
Yeah.
why I'm having Minor guy pull out Matthew chapter 11, verse 6. You got that, man?
Yep. And 11:666. These are people that are offended. And blessed is he whoever shall not be offended in me. So
Right. So Rich doesn't want to talk about that. because that topic is very sensitive. But you know what? The Bible says that though. The Bible says that. Mighty God, let's see. Let's go ahead and get and Reg, I'll let you respond. But let's go ahead and get oh, what is that chapter? I believe that's Psalms 100
Yeah, I know.
and
I know what you're talking about.
37 verse 8, right?
I know what
Okay,
you're
now
talking
Ridge, why he's getting that, Ridge, you can go ahead and throw something in if you have it.
Um, I already know what it is. It's saying happy to see that Nash is right to the stone
Yeah,
or
but just
whatever.
for the audience that is, there, we're going to read it for them. But you're saying that that's not going to happen when you have a shy or Christ return?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I'll read it. 137:7. Psalms 137:7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof, O daughter of Babylon, which is America in the modern day, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Right. I mean, my God, would you agree that that's very clear that the text says that?
100% everywhere. It's what it is. Anybody that hates God fundamentally, we want that to happen. We need that to happen for the kingdom. How else is the kingdom going to happen unless that happens? That has to happen first, right? That's not after the kingdom or anything like that. It's not funny, but it has to happen.
And it's funny because you'll never hear scriptures like this that being brought out in the Christian church then, right? Because they're all on their teaching that when Christ returns, he's just gonna love everybody and give out lollipops and rainbows.
Right.
Ridge, you want to jump in real quick and say anything?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree that there's a part of Jesus just never talk about. Like I've pointed out that the church is. I mean, age. I don't know why I keep calling you age. I'm supposed to call you ETT for now on, I guess. But every time you go to church, back when you used to, didn't you used to go to a Catholic church and Seventh-day Adventist? You ever bring up the verse about Jesus saying,
Yeah,
"Hate your family"?
I went to 7-day, which, as I said, I was brought up Catholic and 7-day Adventist. But yeah, as I said, me and Rakapanam actually met for the first time at a 7-day Adventist church. That's a story behind me and him. But yeah, man, when you go there, they don't ever really talk about a whole lot. They just talk about, stuff to make you feel good and, say that Christ, loves everybody and what's not, that's not true. God hates certain people, right? And it's funny because when we bought our brother, good servant on, we asked him about that. He says that, well, Christ loves everybody. I say, I don't agree. So it's like, okay, well, brother, why don't we arrange a time where we can discuss this subject such as that we might differ on? I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to do nothing. I just want to discuss with you because hell, you could be right. But if you're not even willing to discuss it, well, how the hell can we come to the conclusion if I'm wrong or if you're wrong? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's hard to even talk with these guys. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, it's ironic, the church never deals with prophecy, but it's like, well, wait a second. According to Revelation 19:10, says what? That the testimony of Christ is the spirit of prophecy.
I'll get that. That's a good one.
All right, yeah. Ridge, while he's getting that, you have anything you want to say, man?
Yeah, like there is a devil, and it seems like most churches, a lot of them anyway, just try to completely ignore so much and just make it where everything's about love and happiness and prosperity gospel and just all this stuff, and it's like they just turn a blind eye to just so much evil that happens.
Yeah. Well, the scriptures, talk about. I mean, hell, the scriptures even say that Christ Himself, He didn't even have a bed to lie on. The scriptures say what? Foxes have holes, and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay His head. Right. So Christ would have been viewed as a bum, right? As a couch surfer is what they call him, right? But he did not even have a house, and
Yeah.
that's crazy, man. Because that's why Yahushai, right? Christ is the ultimate example. I'll let you cut it in a minute, mighty God. But Yahushai is to be looked at, respectively. You know why? Because he could have been born to a very wealthy family, but the Lord decided to have him be born, to an average, man and a woman. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, mighty God, you can jump in.
Yeah, well, I can read 19:10 if you want. I didn't have anything to add,
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
Revelation 19:10, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
Right, and that's the churches don't go into that. The churches don't deal with the prophecy.
Yeah, we're the
Go
lucky
ahead.
ones, man, because they're basically not allowed to, because they would probably lose their tax status. Like it's literally not allowed. It's crazy how organized the deception
Yeah,
is.
how can you have an open church when you don't talk about politics? And I say that I don't mean supporting a candidate, obviously,
Yeah,
but how can you have a church where you Trump or Hillary or any of those people is never mentioned, because all that has to do with prophecy.
exactly.
It's not a genuine church if none of that's ever mentioned. Like, it's important stuff.
And money. Money should
Yeah.
be spoken of freely, because that's the biggest quote unquote competition to the Most High. So, yeah, they don't talk about it unless it's like there's the offering plate kind of thing.
Yeah. You know how that is, man. You know how that is. But yeah, I mean, it's just evident that these churches, man, they're not teaching according to the scriptures. Right? That's why when you go over certain laws in the scriptures, these cats that claim to be Christians, they'll get all emotional and don't want to talk about it. Like with the whole thing about the bride kidnapping, right? When we go over that, that's an offensive thing. But it's like, but wait, but that's in the text though. So why don't we at least acknowledge the text, and see what it says? You know what I'm saying?
Here's a good one, ETT. Psalms 47 then said, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, the whole book. So all these people, the Christian church or anybody who doesn't honor all the verses or read them and consider them, then they can't be of God based on what I just read. So, and that's in Hebrews as well.
Right. Let's see. We have Orange Gorilla 33 in the comment section. He said, "What are your guys' thoughts on 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17 to 19?" Mind God, can you pull that out real quick and we can read that?
1 Corinthians 13, 17 to 19?
No. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17 to 19.
Okay.
And Orange Gorilla, man, if you want to join us, man, there's a link in the chat just above. If you want to come on here and talk with us, man, you're welcome to come on.
Yeah, he seems cool, actually. He puts
Yeah,
good
your brother seems pretty
comments.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 Corinthians 3, 17 to 19. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. Okay, that's very important to understand that. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. That's amazing. That's such a
Wait,
good.
that's a fantastic one. Hey, Gorilla, give yourself a pat on the back, man. That was a fantastic scripture. But hey, one aspect to look at that is what we're on the level, right? All of us, well, at least me and mine of God, Ridge is coming up, of course, but we're on the level to be able to challenge any so-called Christian pastor or scholar on the understanding of the scriptures. And hell, I never attended a cemetery school. Inside joke.
That's a
Hey,
good.
But hey, go ahead.
that's a whole rant in of itself. I know I briefly mentioned. I'm so sick and tired of like these people that think, oh, just because they got ordained. Oh, I'm ordained. I went to. Oh, I'm ordained. I'm ordained. I went to school. All you did is go listen to some people talk or whatever. You didn't get ordained by God. Is there
Right,
any verse
exactly.
that says you need to go to seminary before you can start preaching?
No, I can't find one.
No, there isn't any. And it just shows you, man. It's the Christian church is just a damn joke, man. They just don't I mean, that's even an understatement, man. But hey, look,
Yeah, exactly.
any Christian, you know, excuse my language, but any Christian that comes on, they'll get their ass beat, in a discussion. You know what I'm saying? It's just them cats ain't don't know.
Age. Oh, ATT. That's a threat, man. Man, Andrew Ashby's about to cut that good.
Oh man,
He's gonna
that
cut it.
damn devil demon, that damn devil demon, man. And my God, you know who Andrew Ashby is?
No, but I've heard you mention him. I think in the
He's
past.
the guy that's like obsessed with this other guy.
Is he
Yeah, he
still on
makes
YouTube
about
or he's done?
yeah, he's on YouTube. He literally makes 1,000 videos about one individual, right? And the individual that I'm talking about is TVC Mario, which actually a fun fact, by the way, is my friend Rock Upon him. He actually knows TVC Mario. They've done videos together in the past, just to put that out there. And I have a
Remember,
playlist on my channel. Go ahead.
me and Mario did a small video together.
Yeah, I was supposed to do a discussion with him in the past, but he pretty much retired off YouTube, but then he came back a year later or something. It's definitely something weird going on. But go
You know
ahead.
what's cool, ETT, about the YouTube thing is that if you're in it long enough, eventually the haters just go away because they get tired. Like if you have good longevity, like you guys got, like they kind of just go away over time.
Well, me and ETT, we've dealt with this one individual for what 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah. We call him the fart troll because what he does is just go around and he'll put farts over your videos or stuff. It's just such childish stuff. But he literally would do that 24/7, man. I mean, literally for years
Even
on
on
end, he would be there. Go ahead.
even on like Mondays and like just any weekday, like when everybody else will be working, like
Yeah. No, there's a lot of characters on YouTube, without a doubt. I find it funny now, but I didn't always find it funny. I took it a bit personal, but now I'm just, it's better to be kind of the way ETT is trying to set up this platform.
yeah.
Is just be diplomatic, like, hey, as long as you don't yell and, make fun of us personal stuff, we could talk about whatever.
So Age,
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
I have a question for you. How was you raised of Seventh-day Adventist and Catholic? Was it like one parent was one? Because those two are totally different,
Um, no, because my family was first. Well, my mother was a Catholic because that's how she was raised. But then she went to Seventh Day Adventist. Right, so half
Oh,
my
okay.
life, half life, Seventh Day Adventist, which they weren't, really very sincere about their religion or whatever. But you still get the point I'm getting.
Yeah.
Hey, Ridge, I want to give you the mic for a minute. Is there any topics of discussion or any questions you have to throw at me or mine of God?
But wait, let's answer Orange's question on this.
Okay,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to break this down, ETT, and kind of explain what this First Corinthians is, or?
I mean, to me, it sounds very, may I say, self-explanatory. I mean, you're supposed to take care of your, earthly temple, which is what your body, to the best of your, ability. But then the latter part of it, dealing with, to confound the wise, yeah, that's what we're able to do. We're able to confound these people who, spent their life, say for example, there's pastors that have been teaching for 40, 50 years, but in a conversation with me, with somebody like myself who's maybe studied the scriptures for let's say 5 or 6 years or something like that, right? I would be able to confound them on many topics, of discussion. They might be able to get a one up on me on history or something like that. But then referring to the, the doctrine and the teachings of the scriptures, I'll be able to one up them all day. All right. So I think it's very self-explanatory. Mind of God, what are your thoughts on it?
I think I'm glad that he brought this out. We appreciate that because it helps us see things from a different angle. And basically, the whole Bible is interwoven together. It all makes sense, right? But what I want to mention at the first 17, if any man defile, this is an extremely actually important thing you need to know to understand Revelation and other things. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. So what this is saying is anybody who comes up against God's right-hand side, the elect, and then everybody else, God will destroy them. So I want people to understand, if you believe you're on God's right-hand side, know that you have God on your side. He's planning to destroy everybody else that dishonors that group. Okay, this is the kind of God that we have, if we do the things that he tells us. So this is an amazing verse, 1 Corinthians 3:17. I'll read it again. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are.
Bridge, you had something you wanted to chime in on?
Oh, it's another topic, but
Oh yeah, yeah. What's your topic of discussion?
yeah, man. I think that we should just try to finally end this whole thing with uh Mario and everything because like it's going on for too long. These guys won't have any dialogue with us. They refuse to. Like I've been asking for years or whatever to have a conversation with Andrew Ashby. You know.
Yeah, yeah, man. I know. I've been asking the guy for probably about, I want to say, a good 4.5 years now. To just join us for maybe an hour to have a civilized
Yeah.
discussion on why we might agree, and he don't
But
want to
yeah, I
do it. It's
mean,
like, okay,
I
go
think
ahead.
that one day we should just get together and do a one stream. I don't really like to get into all this drama anymore. I'm doing my own thing, but just one
Yeah,
stream to drop the final nail in the coffin about this whole Mario thing because I think there's a lot of verses about that because this whole group is judging a man based off of his past and stuff, and he's already asked for forgiveness.
yeah, yeah. I hear you, man. As I said, um, we tried to reach out to him, and he don't want to talk. So it's like, okay, but yeah, I hear you, man. It would definitely be good, and I'd be all down with that if he wants to join for a conversation. We'll be friendly with him, right? We're not going to yell at him or nothing. It's all cool, right? We'll all be cool with him. So yeah,
Yeah.
man. Reach out to him, and ask him if he'd be willing to at least have maybe an hour or 2 hour discussion with us, and we'll keep it cool. Right? We don't have anything negative to say about him.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part. Anyway, mind of God, you had anything to throw in?
Is that guy who had basically a meltdown and like ended up being like a homosexual and stuff? Or
I
thinking
don't.
about
I
something
don't
else.
think so.
Okay, sorry. I thought there was some
No, it's cool.
well-known, popular YouTube Christian who like kind of came out and like found and then the only reason I know that is because Non Sequitur I think did a full thing on him and made fun of him and stuff. So maybe I'm thinking about somebody else.
Yeah,
Forget.
yeah. That might
That's
be
fine.
somebody else,
Yeah.
man. Hey, we actually just passed the 2 hour mark, man. I mean, hell, I can go for another half an hour if you guys are free.
Yeah. Yeah. The most crazy one. Besides, you remember that link I sent you where Andrew Ashby was singing at church? That was pretty funny. But
Yeah,
yeah, the craziest thing was the 8 hour video. Remember about Mario?
yeah. That guy. Oh man, that's crazy, man. I mean, hell, doing. I mean, hell, that Tony guy. I mean, hell, that's one thing to do 12 hours, but he talked about multiple different people. But
Yeah.
mine. What's that cat? Andrew Ashby will talk about one person for 8 hours on end. I mean, that's just. I can't even believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it, man.
Yeah. Anyway, Ridge, you had any points of contention that you wanted to address?
Well, would y'all like to talk about any like conspiracy topics or anything like that?
Um, let's see. I mean, if you want to present something that's cool, we can discuss that for. Oh, I wanted to throw something out there.
Yeah.
Ridge, have you saw that thing about the whole dinosaurs? Guys are saying that those never existed. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think it's good to question everything, and there's kind of two different thoughts there that some people say they never existed, and other people say that they did exist and they probably still exist and they live with humans. And I'm going to take the second option because you really just those rocks and carvings. It's really we're talking about stuff if they're real, from thousands of years ago that have dinosaurs on them with humans. So that's my take on it. And
Right, right.
not the word
Sorry to cut you
dinosaur.
off, man.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
the word dinosaur isn't necessarily brought up in the Bible, but you got things like the behemoth and the leviathan. So yeah, I think dinosaurs are real. They probably still do exist, and I think that they have been living alongside man. And those rocks and everything prove that.
Yeah, and you see, just like say for an example, I was reading Eric Dubé's book, right, The Flat Earth Conspiracy, which I absolutely recommend that book. But I do got to call him out because one of the things he said about in the book, there's a whole chapter dedicated to it, is he was saying that dinosaurs don't exist. Now I have beef with that because, as Ridge said, I was going to bring out the same point. Is what about these stones that we have that are 1,000 years old, and there's temple, illustrations as well, right? There's rocks, that have been carved. They show what? Dinosaurs on them. So my
Yeah.
question is, if they never existed, well, why is it that rocks that are 1,000 years old, temple carvings 1,000 some years old, why do they show these animals on them? And remember, they were not discovered until the 1800s is when the first bones were, excavated. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, wait a second. How the hell could people 1,000 years ago know what these things look like if they were not around? You know what I'm saying? My
Exactly.
God, what's your
Exactly.
what's your faults? Mighty God, you there?
Well, oh, sorry, I just want to mute. Well, no, I would say that I thought Urban Grill actually proved dinosaurs on your debate with Sakari.
Did I bring that up to them? What
No,
happened?
he said Tahar is like a dinosaur, didn't he? Said he's really old or something.
I
I had to,
Yeah,
dude.
he did
I
say
had
that.
to, man. I was thinking about that the whole time. Sorry. On that
Well, that's
topic,
cool.
I'm not scholarly, man. I'm not learned. So, I would, I don't know. I'd be inclined to take probably the non-mainstream stance, I guess, if there isn't one, because I go against the grain. But I don't know. I guess I have a question for you about that ETT with the dinosaurs. Does that inform you about? And I'm not saying this in a negative way, but does that come up in the Bible, or does that help you understand the Bible being true in some way, or is it just
Well,
kind of
well,
a
I
neutral
mean,
topic?
they're definitely in there though. Say for an example, Job the 40th chapter and Job the 41st chapter. Matter of fact, mighty God, do you want to get Job the 40th chapter for us and we can read that real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but my stance on this is that's talking about a sauropod dinosaur, which basically is the a long neck dinosaur and the long tail. We also know those are the ones that were in the Jurassic World movie, right? The long tail, the long neck one. That's basically what it's referring to in that particular chapter. I believe it's the 40th chapter. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Verse 40:15. Behold, now behemoth, which I made with thee, he eateth grass as an ox. Lo, now his strength is in his loins, and his force in his navel of his belly. He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together. His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron.
Right. So it's like, so what creature fits that description other than a dinosaur? And nobody knows. Some guys say it's an elephant or a hippopotamus or a rhino or something like that, but that's ridiculous to pick one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issues with that. If like Eric, what does Eric Dubay say they don't exist or never
Yeah,
existed? Sorry,
he said that they never existed. They were just made up, is what
I'd
his
be
take
inclined
on
to
it
say
was.
they are just because of that. I mean, I like Eric Dubay's flat Earth work. I think ETT and I would agree with that. But everything else, he's like almost proud of being against the Bible. Antichrist. I think he even said
Yeah,
Christ didn't exist. So if he says
yeah,
dinosaurs
he
don't
did a
exist, then I'd say dinosaurs do exist. Then, and I'll look into it,
right,
kind of
right.
thing.
He did a sorry to cut you off, man, but
That's
he
fine.
did a I believe it was 2 hours, a 2 hour video saying that Christ never existed, which I didn't watch it because I was like already like, well, he's going off then. So yeah, that's on his page, but he's into that whole thing about basically like yourself as God or something, right? That you're God or something like that himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of the new age, still bringing a lot of that new
Yeah,
age
yeah.
stuff.
But hey, I'll give him respect where it is due. I do enjoy his work on certain subjects of discussion, right? But then there's times where he's correct, but
See,
there's also times where he is incorrect.
that's the thing.
Go ahead.
God can even use like a non believer to push out the truth.
100%. All everywhere. We see that in the days. He's actually approachable. I could even email him and see if he'll do a hangout. Like some of the flat Earth people are, they're shills in the sense that they go against the Bible, but you can reach out to them and they may actually
Hey,
talk.
hey, mighty God, go ahead and send him a message, man, and see if you can bring him on the show because I definitely like to join the discussion, man. I think we could have a very interesting discussion. Anyway, man, did you watch any of Larkin Rose's work? Well, what is your thoughts on him?
Is that for Rich?
No, that's for you.
No, I'll subscribe to his channel. I don't really watch too much on YouTube anymore, man. I don't really, you know how back in the day I was subscribed to all the Hebrews and Flat Earth and all that. I don't really honestly don't really study too much except for, you know, the end times Bible stuff. But is there anything in there that you think is particularly important to look at?
I put a link in your in one of your videos, man, going over he somebody asked him about like evolution
Yeah,
and
I saw
what is
that.
that? I
Yeah.
respect. Yeah, did you see that? What is your whole thoughts on that? As I said, I don't agree with everything he says, of course, but I think he's a very intelligent person, for lack of better words.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I also warn people sometimes when you drop links, they don't make it to my thing. So sometimes it's better. The ones that do get through, I put the title there so people know that it's not like spam or whatever. But I may have time to watch it today. I'll look at his YouTube channel and see what he's all about.
Yeah,
Again,
it's only that video I sent is only like I think 10 minutes long or something, man. So yeah, just give that, listen, I disagree with his viewpoint on it on certain aspects, but he does provide a very, good explanation regarding that subject, for lack of better words.
well,
So
Rich,
yeah, man, give that.
I
Go
got a
ahead.
general question, kind of in line with what Rich just said, right? So we're like Bible people. I think people have certain amount of certainty in the Bible. I would say for me, it's close to 100%. I don't think it'll ever be 100 until Christ returns, but it's almost like it's difficult for us now. And I'm not saying this to complain, but it's like, it's almost awkward to talk and learn from people who don't at least consider the Bible, as being truth, because then you have such a huge chasm. You can, like Ridge was saying, you still learn from people, no doubt, like all these non-Bible people. But
Yeah,
I'm just
well,
saying for me personally, it's like, it's almost awkward because if you don't at least lend one ear to the Bible in the times that we live in now, it's like, what do we talk about? Even with our family, what the hell do we talk about? It's awkward.
Right. Rich,
Yeah.
you want to respond?
I would say that's when I don't want to say you need to get into any materialistic things, but in order to have something to look forward to and to be interested in, you should pick something to start uh collecting. Like for me, it's gold and silver and old money. Just something to try to get your mind off of this world, or you're literally going to go
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it's important to have those releases. Like I play golf and do a few things, but I just think when it comes to learning, and this is the part that again, I'm not complaining, but the cool thing is for people who are into the Bible, like it explains so much of the world. So
Yeah. Like this is one of the recent things I got. This is a whole stamp collection. I got it in the state sale.
right on.
Pretty cool stuff.
That's good to collect that, man. That stuff's valuable. Or can
Oh
be.
yeah, it was $20 at the estate sale, and it's probably about $100 in stamps. So can't go wrong there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Always try to
I'm
pick
gonna
up
be.
antique stuff if you can.
Go ahead.
I said always try to pick up antique stuff if you can.
Yeah, man. Most definitely. Go ahead, mind God.
No, that wasn't me. You can go ahead.
Okay, yeah. As I said, I'm gonna go for maybe another 15 minutes, but then I'm gonna wrap the show up. Is there any last minute subjects you guys want to address for the next couple of minutes?
Well, this is a question of the mind of God. I already know your opinion on UTT, but so for the mind of God, what is your take on the Antichrist? Is it one person or is it many people?
No, it's many people. Yeah. And I don't actually know if there's really that much solid foundation. And it's not to challenge you or make fun of you if you believe that, but there's really no foundation for one Antichrist. I would say anywhere in the Bible, actually. Daniel, there's a little bit of language, but that's historical. So what is your stance on that?
It's really interesting. I mean, make no mistake, there is many Antichrists. Jesus even says that. But there is kind of some stuff that hints in the Bible to, one man being the Antichrist, and I also think it's very interesting, and this is quite possible. I've studied the guy, and from history, this guy's an absolute maniac. I'm talking about Emperor Nero. In 69 AD, his nickname was Antichrist, and it's just insane the stuff he done. I think people say he had Peter and Paul crucified. And a lot of people back in the day thought he was the Antichrist. Which, here's something interesting about Nero. I actually talked to a guy, on a pretty regular basis that says he's the reincarnation of Nero, and he knows a lot of stuff about it. I'm not gonna lie. And he talked about how he got sent to hell or whatever for a long time because of all the things he done as Nero. So
He's
Hey, I
probably
got
going after concave Earth Christian because he's the Messiah, right? So
oh yeah. Hey, I got another subject I wanted to dive into for a few minutes. What is your fault about those guys who believe in the preterism? They teach like William Bell, for an example.
yeah,
They teach that we're living in Christ's kingdom today, right? All the prophecies are fulfilled. Christ is ruling the world today, and that we're living in the kingdom of heaven. What is your thoughts on that, mind of God?
I'll let Ridge take that first, man. I got to think about that. That's
yeah.
insane.
So say that again. This guy's saying that we're in heaven right now.
There's a lot of guys saying this. There's probably at least 10,000 people. A lot of people on YouTube were talking about it, but there's one guy who had a debate with Sakari. His name is Pastor William Bell. He's very smart, but he believes that Christ already returned, all the prophecies are fulfilled, and we're living in the kingdom of heaven right now. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
Jeez.
I mean, yeah, I think that's complete nonsense. I mean, this world is some of the sickest stuff. I
And real
mean,
quick, he said that Mystery Babylon was Jerusalem, but it's still on fire today, but it's just a spiritual fire. It's not literal. Mighty God,
uh, well,
you want to jump in, man?
Well, I would say that some people are in their kingdom, like the Kardashians. They have a great life. They're rich. They can go anywhere. They get to just goof around. So some people are in their
and the
kingdom.
Rockefellers, Rothschilds.
Yeah. So some people, I think some people, it makes sense why they would believe that because, like, hell, they do have pretty much everything that they want. Like, they could eat whatever they want. They could go wherever they
Oh,
want.
hey, mighty God, pull up Psalms chapter 73. Let's read that real
Hey,
quick.
Age, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you still think
Uh-huh.
like the elite is going to be going into slavery?
Yeah, I believe that. Do you disagree?
No.
Okay, yeah. I still teach that, man. Anyway, mighty God, you pull up that verse.
Yeah. Do you want me to read all of it, or I see some stuff here?
Yeah, you can read most of it, but it's basically going into the the ones that have it all on the side.
Yeah. Verse 8, Psalms 73. I'll start with 8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. I'll read 6. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence cover them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. Okay, they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out of them. And they say, how doth God know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches.
Yeah, man. What is your thoughts on that?
That's correct, man. It's like all these rich people. Okay, we have nothing against people being rich. Okay, a lot of righteous rich people in the Bible. No issues with that. But you can't be rich and start lying to us, and telling us to go do things that are against the Bible and that kind of thing. So the Bible does not have issues with rich people, wealthy people, because God provides the wealth. But if you're going to be a liar and speak against the Most High and then tell us to go speak against the Most High, we can't have that. No. Sorry. That's the difference.
Anyway, man, what was your thoughts about these guys believing in the preterism stuff?
Yeah, dude, there's a guy in the flat earth community who's like fairly well known, and he pushes that. And then he came on one of my live streams like years ago, and he started pushing that, and then he just and then he just left and hung up and went away kind of thing. And I'm like, in that time, I was actually like sort of more reasonable to believe that. But with what's going on now in the world, I don't know how somebody could believe that with what we see, all of us see going on. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. But what are your thoughts on William Bell and him saying that Christ is ruling the world right now?
Jeez, that's scary, man. And so his Christ would be concave Earth Christian, running the world from the middle of the earth or whatever. Like, where is he, kind of thing. So that's crazy, man. Like, it just shows that the world is completely inverted. You know, that makes sense that people would teach that, actually, because everything's backwards, you know, than the way it is. So it doesn't surprise me. I'm surprised that more people don't actually believe that. And there isn't actually like a church of preterism on the street somewhere you can drive past. That surprises me.
Right. Well, I know that William Bell has his own church, though. I'm not sure what it's called, but yeah, he's been teaching that. I believe he said for like 20 some years, maybe 40 years, he's been teaching about, preterism. But I mean, that's just crazy, man.
Wait,
Go ahead.
Can I add something? Sorry, you might have added
Yeah.
something quick. Here's the deal with the 501c3 and even like people like Good Servant, or I call Bad Serpent. That's why they get offended when we call this place hell, because then that goes against their job, is to make this place seem sort of normal. They may not say it's heaven, but they won't say that it's hell. And so fundamentally, the 501c3 church, their job is to lobby for this place. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. Age, like I was telling the man of God, a lot of this theology has to do with the Emperor Nero in 69 AD. They're saying that was the Antichrist and Jesus came back then.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they've already been delivered. Now they're enjoying the fruits of their salvation, so to speak.
So I have another topic for you guys to discuss real quick. Let me go get something real quick. I'll be right back. But
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be wrapping up the show in like 5 minutes here. And sorry if you hear the background noise. I'm by the road right now, but yeah, man. I definitely enjoyed our discussion, man.
Yeah, this was a good one.
So I guess for the last topic, real quick, if you guys don't mind, let's talk about mental health and everything for a little bit. Like, what do you guys think the reason is that God allows Christians to have depression, everything, and then you have
the reason why
that are living it up,
is and so sorry, Rich, but the reason why is go to what is that, Matthew the 4th chapter, right? It's a mental thing, right? This is a mental thing of ours. So Satan went to Christ and offered him, hey, I'll give you all these things, but all you have to do is pledge your allegiance to me, right? So it's a mental thing, that we have to go to. Mind of God, can you bring that verse up?
Yeah, I'll read Matthew 4. Then Jesus was led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, men shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Right. So that just shows, it's a mental thing that we have to, go through. Today Christ had to go through it. We all have to go to, through certain, similar situations. Anyway, man, I'll let you guys say your last, things that you want to say, and then I'm going to end the show off. All right.
I just want to say, man, thank you for having me on once again, and yeah, like it says, he who's saved has to endure to the end. So all this stuff that we go through, it just seems a lot of the times like it's real Christians that go through the most hell on this earth. But that's prophesized, right? That's just how it is.
Right, absolutely. Mind of God, you have anything you want to say real quick?
I think this is a great verse to end off on, man, because it says Jesus led up to the Spirit into the wilderness. I want people to know in Revelation 12, God's people are going to be in the quote wilderness. So what we're getting at to end off is that we're all in the wilderness. Okay, it's metaphoric for us, and then we should do the same thing Christ says here. But he answered and said unto him, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. That's in verse 44. That's for God's elect. So enjoyed the show, ETT. Peace, buddy.
Yeah, you too,
all
man.
Right, sounds good. All right. Well, anyway, if anybody made it into the show this long and you're watching after the stream, put hashtag stop sign in the comment section down below. Once again, that's hashtag stop sign. But anyway, I thank everyone for watching, and I'm going to end off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yoshai, for this truth, and I'm going to say shalom.